Welcome to Whispers and Choco. This is how we do, and if you don't know, now you do. I'm Shawnee Whispers.
And I'm Mike Choco.
Together we are Mike and Sean in purebred loco. Oh no, we fucked that up. Okay.
Yeah.
And we might go loco.
And we might go loco.
And just in case you wonder what went wrong, or just in case you wonder what took long, we'll say that we're sorry, and this show is going.
This show is going straight to hell. Straight to hell.
I like that one. Yes.
To
Straight to hell.
Happy Thursday.
We had a little bit of a delay on that opening.
A little bit of delay.
Welcome. What up?
Hey,
Ladies and
everybody.
gents.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Michael. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Studio Mike, how have you been?
How are you?
Good.
And
just-
special. Special.
Well, we just want to say we hope everybody had a
Very
happy and healthy Memorial Day
amazing
weekend.
Memorial Day weekend.
It was like a coming out party almost, where fucking
well, it's Pride,
life was
it's
like
Pride
kind of
Month.
normal.
You coming out?
Yeah, life was, well, I came out in different ways, but life was normal. Life is normal for a very little time.
Yeah.
For the last couple of days, it's been like normal. Like I've been going into stores without the mask, and
And people are okay with it, which is cool.
Which
You know,
is
it's
not-
not making a fight over
it's not a
the dumb fucking mask
fight.
thing.
and everything's open. The bar now, our bar is allowed to go. We're going back to our regular shifts.
Okay.
So we're doing 12 to 7, 7 to close. So everything seems to be normal. So we just hope everybody had a really good holiday. We haven't been on in a couple weeks, so if you missed us, we missed you. But
We
today
would-
we have
we
a really
missed you
good,
more,
we have a really
'cause
good
we need
special
you.
show today, and we're happy to come with this show. So I'm gonna let Mike take it over right from here.
Well, you went first. The most important part of this show is that this is the Mike and Sean show, and we know more than you. But obviously, if we don't, we're still
Gonna say that we do.
yeah. So right here,
we do.
this is what we do. We tell you that you're wrong. Anyway, today, special guest with me is actor, acting coach, legend. I mean, probably in his own world. I don't know if he's in the rest of it. His name is Mark Doherty, and he has been on some amazing TV shows and theater, and he's our special
Welcome,
guest.
Mark. That's awesome,
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. This
dude.
is
It's
fun.
awesome to have you, man. Welcome.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I had to get my passport stamped to get out here in Queens.
Yeah, like-
It was quite a trek. Mike, you could have told me ahead of time.
Yeah, what you're in for. Once you came into Chinatown, too, you were like, what?
Planes, trains, and automobiles, for God's sakes.
Mike's like, just come to Flush and make a left to Chinatown.
Yeah, that's it. I'll direct you from there. Once it gets different, less Asian, then you're on the right track.
Well, I want to say congratulations to both you guys on this show. I'm glad it's doing well, and I'm glad that people are responding to it. And,
Thank you.
And I'm
Thank you very much. man.
honored to be here. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have you, man. It really is. It's an honor to have you. And we want to learn a lot about you and your journey. So we'll start with, obviously you and Mike have a relationship.
We do.
We met tonight.
Yes.
So I don't know anything about you. So I'm very interested, and I'm like super
just-
curious to be educated
blank slate
on
for
the
him.
Mark and the Doherty, because it's an Irish last name.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're a couple of Irish American motherfuckers over here. He's got some Italian in him. So
He's
when
Italian-Irish.
Oh, you are too.
Yeah,
All right. So I'm not
I'm
gonna fault either of you for that, but we're at. I'm Italian. I'm Irish and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Italian by insemination.
Yeah, I get. Or Italian by
Your
fucking
neighborhood insemination.
guilty by association. And my stepfather's Italian. But so I mean, we all grew up kind of the same way. I'm
Yeah.
assuming. So
Yes, very much so.
But yeah, welcome, and we're very happy to have you, and ready to hear what you got to say, man.
Well, it's interesting. Recently, my mother got she did DNA, DNA.com or whatever.
23andMe? Something
I-
like that?
she did
Ancestry?
one of them.
Ancestry, 23,
Yeah,
whatever.
I did that.
And so, growing up, I always thought it was Italian on my mother's side. My mother's maiden name is DiPaolo, and Irish on my father's side because the last name is Doherty. As it turns out, we are full-blooded Italian, tracing all the way back to northern Italy. My Italian grandmother was blonde-haired, blue-eyed, which is very typical of a northern Italian. But my dad, it turns out, was Irish, English, and French. And so
which back then was very common because the countries are so close.
Totally.
Yeah, well,
So you had a
yeah,
lot of that mix. Of
That's what
Totally.
when I looked it up, like it's any family that you have that was on the coast has a very big chance of being mixed, diluted blood. And
Sure.
with all the
we went
travel.
down that-
I
yeah.
always said Alexander the Great made it fucking very plain and clear that nobody was going to be fucking pure blood.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's
Like
right.
I don't Alexander. That's why he's one of my favorite. Like if they ever, and I want to ask you this question. Start off. It's a great question to lead with.
Perfect.
I think if you had three people, and I'm going to name my three after you tell yours, and that's why it comes up. If you had three people, past, present, in history, whatever, in your life, in your family, personal life, that you can sit down and have a conversation with, which three people would they be?
So I have had this question asked to me before, and the first person that I'll answer is a young Jack Doherty, my father. I think it'd be interesting to see what it would be like to be around him because I only saw him as that parental figure, right? Who was always saying, "Pay attention," and blah blah blah.
So you want to see him as like your
Mark,
peer?
yes.
I want to see him as,
As
my
a peer.
like knocking
Yeah.
back beers
That's
with me, and
fucking awesome.
And so
That's a great answer.
That's
That's
number
what it
one.
really is.
I think a lot of people say father, but for different reasons. I like that reason.
Yeah, I
You
just,
want-
people would say, my dad had this nickname of Happy Jack. My dad was an interesting guy in the sense of he was in the Army, he boxed in the Army, he was a fiery Irish guy, but everyone called him Happy Jack because, he loved to have a few, and he was a people pleaser. That's what he
it,
just
man.
wanted to put a smile on people's faces,
Those are the most important people in this world. I
You know?
swear to God.
Yeah.
Right. It's that extra effort.
They're
to
trying
just
to bring
someone
happiness.
bring
Every-
happiness to the
people
world.
like that are only trying. Think about the concept. You're trying to make people smile. What makes somebody smile? Being fucking happy.
That's right.
So I commend your dad, and your dad obviously raised a good guy.
Oh,
and-
thanks.
But that's an awesome answer. That's a very.
So-
who's number two? Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to go.
No, I didn't. No,
Okay.
I want to.
Give me number two.
This is sort of a cliche answer.
All right. We go with cliches. It's good.
Jesus Christ. I think it'd be interesting to sit down with Jesus Christ and to really.
Just let's go to Williamsburg.
Dude, before I blow my shot, he's one of my picks.
Yes.
So there's no cliche shit about that. But go ahead, I'll let you give yours, and then we'll talk about mine.
And so I also think maybe the third one would be, I don't know why I'm obsessed with this individual, but I always have been. I know somewhat of a reason why I'm obsessed with him. Bram Stoker's Dracula was a book that I read as a child that really developed me into a pretty good writer. It's written in journal entries. I don't know if you guys have ever written. It's one of my favorite books. And the character, as I learned more and more about him, Vlad Dracul, was a true conqueror at one point, and he was known for these amazing fortresses they would build on like hillsides in the Carpathian
Vlad
Mountains.
the Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler. And he had that nickname, the Impaler. If you were an enemy of his and he liked you, he impaled you through the chest. But if he didn't like you, he impaled you through the anus and let you die over 3 days.
Amazing.
And so a guy of that...
I mean, not amazing, but it's amazing.
That's
The thought process.
Right through the
The violent nature
Right,
and
yes,
the thought
and that
process
is-
is amazing.
Well, and think about it. Like in the world that we live in now, with these the demographic of 18 to 39, where these young kids think words are violence, and then you go back to that
And
time,
see
Right,
that
what's
how
going on.
savagery.
Bananas.
You know, when they get on Christopher Columbus and say he was a savage, the times were different.
I
man.
actually worked with before the show we talked a little bit. I was a TV production. I worked for a while. My right hand man in the rental department was this kid Adrian Ionescu. Kid comes from Romania. He comes from like relatively close to where Vlad was from, and it's still a tourist spot. And
But the castle that they use as Dracula's castle is not the right castle that was his.
Not
It's the only
where-
one that's still standing, so they use that as the castle for tourists. That's how
but
they
his,
lure him
his
in.
impaling was more about proving to the world how nuts he really was.
Yeah.
And if you come near me, I'm gonna destroy everything about you. And that mentality is, back in those days. It's like everybody was trying to, and almost to an extent today, everybody was always trying to take over everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's
So-
trying to conquer
right.
everyone. That's
No,
right.
was he? Did he kill innocent people? I don't really know that part of him, but I know that he did that to his enemies.
Yes, he did.
He impaled his enemies.
And I also, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Sean. I just think he was so cerebral. Even back then, he was smart enough to know that he had someone taste his food because he knew that people would be trying to assassinate
That's the
him.
other thing is his fear was
Coming
the
to take
food.
my shit. Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna be in this game for a long fucking time.
So a conqueror like that, I don't know. It would be fascinating to, Mike Tyson always talks about how he studied all the great conquerors, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Always been interested. So those are my three picks.
That's a great picks. I'm actually fascinated by all of them. What one of them we share, Mike? Give me your three if you had a time. I'll tell you mine if you want time to think about it.
It's not even to think about it. I mean, I'm like 2 out of 3 in my head, right? And similar to yours, but I would want you to go first because I don't know if I could give you a third one.
Okay.
But I could give you 2.
Because I always love this question. I was asked this question when I worked in TV production, and we were like sitting around the studio one day, and we had like it was like a sit down for whatever reason, like audio went bad, whatever it was, power problem, I forget what it was. So we actually studio audience, everybody was in there, and we just sitting around bullshitting, and the question was asked, who were the 3 you would sit down with? So I'm like, and I didn't really have time to think about it, and I was upset because I was talking to some pretty good people that I wanted to, didn't have time to think about. When I thought about it, Jesus Christ was one of them because I was an altar boy, Catholic, though, raised that way, the whole thing. I never looked at religion, I think, as some people look at religion, as like almost a cult, a way of life, though, Jesus to me is the most fascinating human being of all time. Do I think Jesus turned water into wine? No. Do I think he rose from the dead? No, I don't. It is my personal opinion. It might offend people, If we think that way,
it just might.
We have to be, but that's fine. That's my point.
That's my
religious
point.
is occultism.
I'm okay with
like
that.
Religious can be occultism
Right.
in a sense.
Right, but
if you think that this man was a human, and then somehow a human, and then was killed and then raised from the dead, and then it just doesn't make sense in a sense of logic thinking.
But there's a belief behind it, and that's what the belief. Like people need something. Around this time, people need something,
That's
and they
fine,
need it for order.
But you could need and
Fast
and,
forward from that
and feel like a sense of obligation to believe in something without thinking that Jesus was a zombie. Like that's essentially what you're telling me. The guy was dead and then woke up. Like listen, okay, let me just stick.
It's all yours. I'm not.
No,
because
because I understand what you're saying 100%.
I shouldn't have said anything.
I think it's a great
It's not my time yet.
It's a tremendous discussion. My point is, I think that he's the greatest human of all time.
Okay.
I think he was a man. I believe Jesus.
That he was a physical person.
He was a man, and there's proof that he was alive. So we know he lived.
Okay.
We don't have proof that he was a god. We have proof that he was a man. I kind of like to lean on facts. I like that. So I'm going to say that he was the most fascinating human of all time. And if I could sit down and ask him questions, and he could be honest with me, that would be like amazing because we'd learn a lot. Because I think he was just a guy that wanted to bring unity to the world. And by saying that, I studied, right? We all did, I'm sure. Jesus never said he was the Son of God. He said we were all the creation of God. And we were all made in the image of him. We were all children of God. He claimed that we were all equal. He never said he was any different than anybody else. And he never claimed to have any kind of super ability. Read the Bible. There's no time when Jesus said, I can do this or I can do that. So now if we all played telephone when we were children. If there's 10 people at the fucking playing a game, you say Apple, at the end it's coming out orange. That's in a game in real time. You're talking about a book that was written over fucking 1,500 years. So we have to take that into consideration of the fact that I believe the religion is spiritual. I know I'm going way too long on this first pick that I picked, but my point is this: how fascinating he is. Okay. Secondly, I'm sorry, and Mark, I'm so sorry you're the guest.
No.
He doesn't know what he's in for yet.
I just wanted to add one. Just maybe
add as much as you want. Cut me off every minute you can.
One quick point. Can you really think about this now? One human being had that much of an impact on the world. Now hold on. Remember, Judaism came before Christianity. The Old Testament was written by the Jews.
So Islam is even before that.
And Jesus comes in, and the thing that I don't.
He changed the game.
Everything. Shit. And so now I'm looking at it like this. I do believe in an afterlife. I do believe in a soul. I do believe. I know this for a scientific fact that energy can't go away, and our human bodies are enzymatic reactions of energy that can't disappear when we die. What does that all mean? I have friends that have spoken to people about, they have had their cards read or whatnot, or what do you call those people that?
Tarot card?
Yeah, they go to the other side and they talk to the family.
Like they speak. What's her name? Sylvia.
Psych.
Those psych.
Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo.
That, yeah.
Miss
Carmen now.
They're gonna tell you all about the
You're born in front of your
TV.
TV. Call me now.
1-800. I see your family.
Me tell you everything you need to know.
Bomb.
Call me Bumbleclot.
So when you
Sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. You're the man.
This
Yo,
is-
bro, by the way, I have a man crush on this guy. Thanks for bringing him. Because your fucking thought process is right down my alley, bro. Everything you're saying is right where I think.
And so I don't know, just for
But the
one,
kinetic energy you
Well,
Dude,
yeah.
it's everything you're saying is 100%
well,
accurate.
a human being to have that much. Now, one could say that Muhammad Ali wanted to unify the world, and he was another great human being.
Correct.
George Foreman calls him the greatest man he ever met. George Foreman, his arch enemy. And Muhammad Ali touched on so many different things, religious things, and
A lot of men call him the greatest greatest man. So he's another. Like,
but that's not Christ. That's not,
think about what you're saying right now, okay? And you couldn't be more right if
what
you
a
fucking
balance
tried.
between
Jesus Christ did something that nobody else ever was able to do.
And through history,
That's
you
it.
have physical
He
beings that have
unified.
tried to do different things, create new religions, create new master races, create all these fucking things, and nobody has even come close to
Not
that.
what he did.
Not what he did. No.
it's amazing. And so I want to leave you with this one story. This story always makes me cry, so if I start to cry, I'm sorry about that.
But he'll be there to hug you and embrace you.
Muhammad
I
Ali.
might make fun of you.
Muhammad Ali was was not.
I might.
You should.
It might happen.
Muhammad Ali was known for his charity work. He did a ton of charity work with little kids, sick kids. And this is after I think he lost his second fight to Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier went on to fight Foreman and get decimated in 2 rounds. And then it was going to be Ali Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, Africa. And I remember there was the picture of Ali on the cover of Life magazine or whatever. Is this the end for Ali? And whatever. So he was able to go into another nation, Kumbaya, Ali, Kumbaya, all the impact the Africans in that country. But during this time of training, he would go in and visit these sick kids who were dying of cancer in the hospitals. And he would say the whole, I'm going to beat Foreman, you're going to beat cancer, I'm going to beat Foreman, you're going to beat cancer. Go away. Here's a couple weeks later that one of the boys that he was talking to is really, he's circling the drain. He's on his deathbed. And so he goes back to him and he says, goes to visit the kid in the hospital, I'm going to beat Foreman, you're going to beat cancer. I'm going to beat Foreman, you're going to beat cancer. I'm going to beat Foreman, you're going to beat cancer. And the little boy stopped and he said, no, champ, I'm going to die. And when I meet God, I'm going to tell him I knew you.
Holy
Wow.
fucking shit, dude.
Imagine the impact that Muhammad Ali had on a little
It's
boy.
insane.
This little kid has bragging rights to God that he knew Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And so I do believe that the point of that story, I do believe that
That's
human
insane.
beings can really, really, really
Touch somebody
reach
that
people.
hard.
Yes.
And a young soul, an older soul to a younger soul.
Wow.
Yes.
I got to say that
That's heavy.
That might
That's
be
fucking heavy.
one of the heaviest things I've heard
I
in a
honestly
long
don't.
time.
I
Yeah.
saw Ferdy Pacheco tell that story. Ferdy Pacheco told that story, and I was just like, I almost fell off my chair.
Muhammad Ali
Wow.
was always, Frank, my dad's probably his favorite athlete of all time.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because my dad, he was like one of those queens, like degenerate, trying to know it all. He used the word nigger in his life all the time, and not in a good way. Like not with a hard R.
Right.
Like that nigga this, that nigga that. His favorite people in his whole life were black. I swear to God. His best friend at work, Willie, black. Muhammad Ali, his all-time, except Elvis. But Elvis was almost black.
Well,
in
Elvis
his
stole from.
gyrations.
Yeah,
He
but
was.
he stole from black
Elvis,
people. So
listen,
that-
Elvis had some, his soul. Elvis had some. But my point is, like, it just shows you, like, some people think they are, and I don't even know why I went that way, but Muhammad Ali was that guy. He was. I had at a young age, had a lot of knowledge about him because of my dad, because he loved him.
Yeah.
He was a great man.
Yes,
he was a fucking great man.
Yes, he was.
And that's a great story. Thank you.
that really is.
All right, my second guy,
Yeah.
Alexander the Great. I mentioned him earlier.
Yes, you did.
He's another guy who tried to unify the world. That was his goal in life. His goal was not to have borders because somebody said they were borders. He was the first one that I ever read that wrote borders are lines that man made up.
Yeah, there are
And
no real
we're all-
borders in this world.
And we're all children of the earth.
There are no real borders.
This is right after Jesus Christ. It's not like there was no Christianity really yet. Like it wasn't really in set. But he was one of those guys that was just trying, and that's why I said earlier, he did his best to unify, to make sure there was no pure blood. Like, because he saw the beauty in everybody interacting with each other. Listen, when it comes down to, I'm a fucking big, like, the whole thing with aliens and everything. the whole idea that we're floating on a fucking rock.
Right, and this
In
is
the
the
middle
only
of- in the middle of
and of this
fucking
big vast
space.
space.
We
And
are
we're the
insulated.
only intelligence out here. You think so?
No. That first of all, that thought process is just that I don't even entertain that anymore. What I'm saying is the whole. I swear to God, what
There's
I'm
gotta
saying
be
is
so much more.
No, what I'm saying is the fact that we think that we're over here arguing with each other and fighting who's better, and whose God is better, and whose fucking food is better, whose pussy smells better. It's fucking stupid. When in the grand scheme of things, we are all one goddamn thing, and we're part of the earth, and the earth is us.
But we also
We
yeah,
are
like-
the earth.
Well, that's the
We're
most.
all one thing.
We've all. if
There's
you,
no separation.
You could trace your blood genes back to like Africa.
Every single person can.
Almost.
There's
yeah.
no separation in human race.
And
There's
just that
none.
alone
and
would
the
make people understand
it
who they are and where they're from.
And believe me, I'm not a again, we didn't talk. I'm not a what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Only you know.
Liberal, progressive.
No, like one of those people that are out there trying to like on a soapbox.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to spread any kind of word. Like
Sure.
I've had people because of being bartender. Oh, Sean for mayor. That's not what I've always felt that in my life.
Yeah.
If I had a heart surgery and your heart worked and it beat, you could put it in my chest. If the guy was black, fucking Chinese, I don't care. Indian, it don't matter. It's gonna work. How are you any better than me? That's it. Sorry.
Look,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, I love that. I couldn't agree with you more. And I'll tell you, I lived that life. I grew up in that. I went to public schools my whole life. Half my high school was black. I played sports with them. I dated their sisters.
Where'd you go to school?
East Providence High School. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. I was
Okay.
born in Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow.
And so it was just that thing, like sports brings people together, right? Politics separates people. Sports brings people together.
1,000%.
Right? And so sports, so when you get on that battlefield, you strap on the helmet, and this guy's black,
There's
and this
no
guy's
color.
Spanish. They got your back, bro. You guys are soldiers together. That's the way that goes.
I agree.
Bobby Kennedy said it best. Football or wartime is when you can figure out.
Who your brother is.
Who?
That's it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my fucking mind, and I said that before. I posted on Facebook how sports is everything when it comes to racism.
Absolutely.
Because if you're a racist, you're gonna get exposed. You can't be a real true racist.
Right.
You can't be next to a black man. You can't. If you can't let your daughter or son, and this goes on both sides, because I know plenty of black people that would never let their son or daughter marry a white man.
Yeah.
That's racism. If you can do that, you're a racist, which is fine. Own that shit. That's all. The world needs to be a little bit less gray, because a lot of people are fucking frauds. And it's easier to be a fraud
Yes.
than it is to be true.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to hide behind your bullshit.
100%.
And that's what a lot of people do. And, I pride myself on not being. That's why me and this fucking guy right here, who I love to death, we have true written on our own. Because we're always going to be true. And I don't care. Like, I'll speak on topics that I think I probably shouldn't on, even though because I should have that right. That's it. And I grew up a certain way.
Sure.
And I don't think the way a lot of the country thinks. You don't think the way you don't.
Don't have a chance to. Don't have a chance
You're
to.
from Providence, Rhode Island, but you grew up the way we did in Flushing.
Yep.
That's it's simple. It's simple for us, I think. Because
I think it is because you know exactly what the steps are to be who you, right? Like when you walked out of your house and you went to school, right? You and the people that you walked to school with and you went to school with, they're the same. Like
you never looked at them as
you,
Spanish
not,
or
I
black
never
or
I
anything.
never
That's
walked down the street and
I
was
never
like
did.
black guy over
I
there,
never did.
Spanish guy over there.
Same.
Like it was just like
Even with
You
my
just-
father using the hard R.
right,
That being said, I swear to God, even that being going on.
and not even worrying about it.
Because I
at
knew his
all.
best friend was black. And Willie was like part of my life. I'm like, this guy's such a fraud. My father was the biggest fraud of all fucking time. I'll tell you that shit right now. That guy was like a fucking, forget it. He was like a gay $2 bill.
Yeah, he's.
He was just a fraud. But
yeah.
whatever. That being said, I learned a lot. You always learn from the
Sure.
good and the bad. Third person,
Tell me.
Leonardo da Vinci.
One
And
of,
I
the,
was
one, of the,
all-
one of the greatest geniuses of all time.
Genius.
Painter, inventor, one of the greatest geniuses of all time.
Genius. And it was a toss-up between him and Genghis Khan. Because I think Genghis Khan is just brilliant.
Well, here's
brilliant.
another guy who just inseminated the whole fucking world, or
Again,
at least half
see,
of
and you
it.
notition how I'm going with it. Jesus,
Insemination.
Alexander.
Yeah,
the Great.
you're-
No, not insemination. unification.
Yeah.
Bringing the world together as opposed to separating it.
That's
Like,
a, that's a-
I didn't
that's a-
mention one guy that tried to separate the world.
No, that's,
Well,
that's a common denominator for you.
the-
three guys.
It's my common denominator.
Genghis
And I
Khan
thought,
is-
and Leonardo da Vinci is definitely along those lines. Genghis Khan is misunderstood and misinterpreted. You know, Genghis Khan bought showering regularly, like regularly.
I mean,
Only had fucking one drink.
when you
Taking a regular shower.
yeah, taking a regular shower.
Mongolians started that.
Yeah, regular
Eating
showers.
with utensils. There's a lot of factual shit that the Mongolians were part of, and they don't get credit for.
How far are we going back?
We're going back to
I'm
around.
just- no, only because I'm ignorant to that. I really.
No. So basically, the trade line between Asia with the Silk Road, which Marco Polo, the story of Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Year-wise, you know what, Mike? You got the computer. Do the exact year, so we're not guessing.
So
But essentially, what happened was Genghis. Essentially, we were taught as children, and this is why I bring this up. We were taught as children that he was, the Mongolians were savages.
Right.
All they did was rape, pillage, blah blah blah. Nothing could be further from the truth. They had schools. They ate with utensils. They showered regularly. England, who essentially controlled the planet before them, did none of that.
None of that. They were
Okay.
dirty.
They were
Dirty.
filthy animals.
Filthy animals.
To this day, it's 2021. Their teeth are still falling out.
They're
fucking
they
kidding me?
they got in bed. All right, so the reign of Genghis Khan, and you hear the story.
550 AD or something, right?
Nah, hold
No,
on.
not even close.
So he inseminated at least a quarter. I think they said it's like a quarter of the
Yeah, if
population
what-
has his DNA in it.
You mentioned, yes.
It's a
One
quarter
out
of the-
one out of every. No, I think it's less. It's 1 out of every 12 people who take a DNA test have the one gene
That's
that
related
he had.
to him.
He had a very rare gene.
It's a very Northwest Asian gene.
and so that's how many fucking
That's how-
children he had. Wow, he had thousands of kids.
Thousands, hundreds
I
of
love
thousands
it.
of grandkids.
I don't think I have that gene.
I don't-
I wish I did though. It's
I have
fucking
Northwest.
fascinating.
I have Northwest Asian in my DNA.
I have 10% Native American.
All right. So his reign from spring 1206
Okay.
to only August of 1227.
Right. He wasn't around a long time. And Kublai is his grandson. Kublai Khan is the one who was befriended Marco Polo. Actually took Marco Polo as a slave and then befriended him. And Marco Polo opened up trade routes. That is where I think the shared knowledge kind of really started going.
Yeah.
Because Marco Polo came in as an Italian. His father was an Italian, bureaucrat and the whole
Yep,
thing.
yep.
His father sold him or gave him away to
Yes,
prevent
it was.
war.
Yeah, to prevent the war, he's like, take my son
He was
with
like, don't
you.
take over our country.
But it was an intelligent guy.
because the Mongolians were fucking basically doing
Savagery.
Not see, that's what I'm saying. They weren't, but they had no problem taking your shit over.
Yeah.
Well,
If they felt you were backwards,
Is
they-
that the level of savagery? Just
I guess
taking
it could
away from someone else?
Savagery, yeah.
You're thinking of like butchering and
No,
like
I think
destroying.
you're right. You're right in the sense of trying to take somebody else's shit. You're a thief savage. I totally agree with that. But I think human history proves that everybody's done that. Like
Yeah,
it's-
no. I'm not saying
Without
one over
question.
the other. Without question.
But some people I think
could
have
go-
done it because some can argue Alexander the Great did that. He had wars. But some people do it for noble reasons, if that makes sense.
Maybe later it seems noble. Like at the moment when his army is coming over
If
the
you
hill,
think you
you're
could
like,
turn,
fuck.
if you
like,
think you could turn an animal savage country into like a civilized and make
right, but
people
looking
happy,
back at it while it's happening, you don't see that.
which he did to Egypt.
Right, I'm just
Egypt was everybody was warring with each other when Alexander the Great went in there. They were all warring in between because the day of the pharaoh was dead. And
right, and they all
it was
tried to claim
everybody's trying to-
king.
it
Right,
was a
they were all
fucking-
trying to claim king, and he went in. And
But
said,
anyway,
"No, no."
hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mark Doherty here today, and he hasn't said anything in about 20 fucking minutes because Sean can't shut the fuck up.
That's all right. It's your show. Talk,
That's right.
talk.
It's not Welcome to the Mike and Mark show.
It's not.
I'm sorry, man.
It's
No, I
it's
love it.
Sean. It's Sean's guest, Mike and Mark.
Those were my guys, and I actually explained
That's,
to one.
no.
Have you had
did-
time to think about yours?
No, I would say like I don't really. I mean, listening to what you guys were saying is like I never really thought about that. I never really thought about who. I mean, I probably said something every now and like I wonder what he was thinking back then, and or whatever time in history, watching a movie or that way. But I would say that Ali would definitely be, if I started now when I went with that creation, I would say Ali. Because the things that I've learned from him in the last 20 years, so much more. And then what you were saying about like racist, like people being racist and they couldn't root for Ali, right? They all became racist when he wouldn't fight in a war that he didn't want to fight in.
Right.
Because he goes, no, Viet Cong did nothing to me. And they were like, whoa. Why you don't belong fighting? You belong in jail, and then they became racist towards him, and he was like, "Fine, like you're gonna lock me up? I'm gonna lock you. You want to take 3 years of boxing away from me? That's fine. I'll do that if that's what it takes." And he did that.
Only real men stand by the convictions.
100%, and whatever requires.
That's it.
And here, in that, on the same level but more political, I would like to say that I would also want to talk to Nelson Mandela, because here's another guy.
Great pick.
Who never gave in. Believe he was in jail for like 20 years or something like that.
The epitome of sticking to your convictions.
Yes.
20 years.
was Nelson
Never
Mandela.
changed. Never changed.
And the people fought to get him out. He didn't really fight to get himself out.
No, he didn't. He was like, this is what, let the people see what you've done to me. And eventually,
didn't he
everyone,
do like 34 years.
some
ago?
years,
long
like
time.
a
It was a
long time.
long time.
It was like 3 decades.
He went in like 30, like
I
they're
remember
almost 30 and
when
came
they
out.
released him, it was one of the biggest fucking things in like world history.
Yeah.
But think about this, like think about him and what he goes in there for, right? Like why because he was against fucking racism.
Yeah.
He was against like
Segregation. Just stop separating
Trevor
us.
Noah.
Apartheid, right?
Right, apartheid.
Apartheid.
Trevor Noah, his is of mixed blood. He has a white mother and a black father, and it was illegal when he was born for that to happen. So his parents had to live in 2 different places, 2 different countries, and secretly see each other.
First of all, Trevor Noah is probably the most unfunny guy in the world. So
I don't know how he got that job.
he's awful, but I feel bad for his parents. Not bad for him. Fuck Trevor Noah.
Yeah, but even if he's not funny,
No,
that's
I know it's sad.
Like,
Because it's insane. It's fucking. How old is Trevor Noah? 27, 28? Like if that 30 years ago,
Right.
you couldn't be black and white and have a kid in any part of the world.
No, it's ridiculous.
That's fucking insane.
It's ridiculous.
But again, the minute you try to like.
By the way, my first TV crush was Thelma on Good Times. I'm
Oh,
gonna divulge that. She was.
no.
It was my first TV crush.
Okay, so I can't front. I'm not going to sit here and try to be like, it was a black. It was Alyssa Milano, but second, fucking second, Denise Huxtable. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I fucking love her to this day. To this fucking day, dude. When I found out that fucking what's his name was banging it, married to her and had a kid with her.
Who's that?
Who's the singer?
No. So what's crazy
Lenny
about
Kravitz?
Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah,
When I
but
found out
hold
Lenny-
on.
I'm like, and I
Jason
love Lenny
Momoa.
Kravitz. I'm
Jason
like,
Momoa.
This guy's got a perfect
grew
life.
up.
Lenny
You know this?
Kravitz.
Jason Momoa grew up, looked in the TV, saw her character. I
Lisa
forgot
Bonet is
Lisa
so
Bonet.
hot, bro. She's still
He
so
said that's
hot.
my future wife, and
She's
his
still so
friends
hot.
were like, yeah, whatever. Jason Momoa married her.
Jason Momoa could have any chick on the planet, and he's married to Lisa Bonet.
I didn't know he was married to Lisa.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a kid with her.
3
well, no,
3 kids.
Lenny Kravitz. He has 3 kids, or 2 kids with her, but 2 are Lenny's.
Yeah.
because Zoe Kravitz, and then there was another one.
Yeah. So,
But dude, she's still a fucking dime. She's gorgeous, and she's always been like
Au natural, no makeup, just
that's
pretty.
it, dude.
Yes.
She was gorgeous. Her
Yeah.
and Alyssa Milano. That's how I knew I was a racist, and that's also how we knew I wasn't gay.
that's clearly a sign. Clearly the sign when you like both a
That's it.
white girl and a black girl,
Those
you're
are
not
two-
gay.
Those
So,
are 2 accomplishments.
Yeah.
Not that being
So
gay
to
is bad,
answer-
but I'm like, all right, I like pussy.
To answer your
I
question.
am gay. I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. I just want to clarify
I
that.
used that line once, and it worked.
It used to be funny until it was offensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you're
everything-
not. No.
Everything's offensive.
Anyway, so in this conversation, the original one, Nelson Mandela would definitely be
Yep.
one person I would, because
Tremendous
I would
pick.
love to know every year, every 2 years while this was going on, did he ever feel like, do I give in? Or was he like, no, if I die here, I die here. Like, whatever, because he did so much. The people outside rallied for him for 40 something years. For as long as the day he was incarcerated to the day he was out, people died, arrested, like just continually fought for his cause. Just to stop, to have a
it's
dominating
funny how
force
people
stop being
will rally
racist.
around you for the greatest reasons and for the
The
worst reasons.
dumbest reasons also.
Like people rallied around Hitler. They rallied around Michael Jackson.
And the things about Hitler,
they rally around people and they're like, I love that person so unconditionally that I won't see anything through anything of what they did wrong.
Well, you ever see that picture they like to show about the Hitler rally? Where
I just compared
everybody's-
Michael Jackson to Hitler.
Yeah,
by the
you
way.
did. You put him in the same conversation.
Well,
That was an incredible segue.
Like how it leads into it.
they were both
And so
they were both awful humans.
Could you they
Yes.
were like two the best bud video like a you know
No,
when they
Hitler
make-
was Hitler. How do you even compare them?
So I don't know how you could
That would be
compare-
amazing. Like
you
you
could-
could. Let's go back to that.
Wait,
Go
hold
ahead.
on, hold
Go
on,
ahead,
hold
Mike.
on.
I want
hold
to go
on.
back to that.
Let's go. Hold on a
Continue
second.
your shit.
So, in that Hitler picture, there's where everybody's rallying and they're cheering for him, and as they always show it to you, it's the one guy that put his hands in his pocket and refused to cheer along with them. It's like you want to know what that guy. I don't. That's not one of the people, but I'm
Who's
just
that?
saying.
Yeah, who's
like
that
you
guy?
want to know why? Like
Right.
why did you take that moment when millions of people were afraid of Hitler and what that army was going to do, and they know that they
I
could
think more
die at
people
any
agree with him
moment?
because they were scared of him.
Right.
But
I don't think that they were sitting there going
in
like
the beginning,
it makes-
though, in the beginning, he won their hearts.
Yeah.
Because they were being stranglehold. They were
Because
being starved.
after World War I
Right,
would have
they were being
happened,
starved.
they were
He
starved.
came as their rescue.
Yeah.
He was like, but he just fed them a bunch of bullshit, and he fed them a bunch of false dreams based on hate, and that's why he's.
But he fueled people's hate to find deep down
Correct.
inside
So
that they had it. What can
he
they
was
do
an
with it?
evil fucking person that put his evilness in the forefront.
Right, and that's when you even now when you say like modern day racism, not the same thing, but what he did was he found that little element that someone could be mad at and made it expose itself. So if people liked Jews or didn't like Jews, he made them hate Jews. Like if you were on the
I'm sorry, Kyle. So you have to think about this from a historical perspective as well. And my good dear Israeli friend always tells me about this. Who was in the Israeli army and born in Israel. You have to keep in mind that Germany was a very poor country at that time, and the Jews were controlling the banking industry in Europe. And Hitler fed them that promise of
taking
we
back
get
that money.
we
We're
get
taking
them.
back that money.
Yes.
Right. So
It's an easy when people are starving.
Yes.
They're easily
Yes.
Right.
fucking
Yes.
manipulated.
First you convince them what the actual problem is.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's true or not, you're convincing them that there's a problem.
Yep.
Who is the cause of the problem? It's not just one. It's not just the guy in charge of the bank. It's all of them. It's their family. It's their cousins. And so now you start to hate everybody. So now we go in there and say, well, when you hate people like this and they control it and we're starving and we need more, what do? We get rid of them. Fucking brilliant. Then let's go. Let's get rid of them. That's a good idea. How are we going to get rid of them? Oh, we're just going to get them out of the country and we're going to put them somewhere else. And they were like, okay, we'll do that. Then you turn out, when nobody knows. And then all of a sudden you start to find out how they're getting rid of them is exterminating, completely wiping them off the face of the earth. So here's a guy.
And then some people are still cool with it.
It's very cool with it. And so here's a
kind of what our ancestors did to the native indigenous Americans in this country.
Not
right?
all of them, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Not all
like-
of them. See, I think that's another big. You're 100% right about the over. Like I just
that's
recently,
the English side of it.
I
so,
just
yeah.
recently had this kind of like, I guess, comment.
English, French, and something. Sorry, go ahead.
This whole comment Facebook discussion back and forth thing. With a friend of mine who I grew up with forever, and I just won't do names right now. It doesn't matter, but
Don't need them.
it seems to always find a racial, a racist undertone.
Yep.
Like when there's not really necessarily a racist undertone. So whatever. I posted something about I could read the post and make it easier, but whatever. The bottom line is, I said everything doesn't always lead to it being a racist situation.
1000%.
I go, I said the problem with it, because the comment, the post was from 30 years ago, and it was just a comment. It's about how ignorance is being accepted as a right and a bit like just as much as my knowledge.
I saw this. Yeah. You
Isaac
can argue.
Isaac Abramoff. And,
You can-
I don't have the exact.
Yes, it's just what it's saying is that you can. So I can, if I'm ignorant I can match my ignorance to your intelligence.
Just
So
because-
my ignorance is right and your intelligence is right, but I'm matching my ignorance to your intelligence.
Correct. That's essentially exactly what it is.
So it's like
So-
I'm not wrong because
and that's
I'm
what's
ignorant,
going on.
but you're
And
not right because
he
you're
made
right.
he made this comment fucking 30 years ago, and that is essentially describing America as we know it. Like it's. I'm going to read it right now. Okay. There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life. nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Now, I know I kind of like chopped that up a little
That's
bit,
okay.
but we could break the whole thing down, right? There's a cult of ignorance in the United States. Now, this was written 30 years ago, 1992, okay? And Isaac Asimov is an American writer.
Yeah.
Boston College,
Yep.
very well known.
Yep.
I loved him. I loved the movie fucking iRobot. He's the creator of iRobot,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know. I knew he was an author, and I knew he wrote awesome books.
Yeah.
And he's just a really brilliant man who died a long time ago.
Sure.
And he made that comment. Like, there's a cultural situation going on that's accepted. That's exactly what he said. And then he said the strain of anti-intellectualism. So the strain of being intellectual, the strain of having the ability to go out and talk to people and do so, that's the social, like we call it socialistic,
Right, but also-
nobody uses intellect anymore. That
Right,
word
but-
doesn't even exist in this
Right, but
fucking
being
society.
able to argue your intelligence.
or
Like,
discuss,
right, like
instead of
you're-
argue.
You're a smart person, but I'm going to argue that you're wrong, even if those are facts.
So the age of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding through our political and cultural life. That you couldn't say that any more clear. Like it's the anti-intellectual, the anti-social ability, being able to discuss. All of that shit has been going and intertwining with our cultural and political society for fucking decades.
Yep.
And people are surprised now why everybody's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Because people are stupid. But look,
It's
and we
easy.
ended saying
There are a lot of dopes in the world.
it's nurtured by the false notion that democracy. Now this goes, and I'm not a political guy, but this goes to the fucking stupid political liberal left that think it's okay to be a moron. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I don't do right left. I hate them both, but I do. I fucking hate them
Equally,
both.
fuck them
Equally.
Equally.
Nurtured by the false notion that democracy means my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Now that's going on right now at a very high level, where people are denying facts
Correct.
as real.
Correct.
And they're coming up with their ignorance.
Correct.
To debate it, and people are like, "Oh, you know what? It's America. They have a right to be
Yeah,
stupid."
like you can. It's okay. It's socially acceptable
Dude,
to be.
it's fucked
to
up.
be ignorant, not have the right answers, and that as the final answer. That's your final answer.
That's the final answer.
It's it's
It's
the
the anti-intellectualism. That's that. I would never even think to use that word because it's hard to say, and I don't want to say
clearly
it.
it
I
is
don't
hard.
want to say it a
It's,
lot.
it's very difficult. I want to say a lot of things, just not that.
But fuck,
That's
man.
just too fucking
Could-
difficult for
Could
me.
that not have been any more clear?
No, I mean,
And I shared that today.
I'm not going to go into any political stuff here, political stances
Yeah,
or anything
fuck
like that.
politics.
Yeah, because we don't do
fuck
we don't
politics.
do that here.
No.
Fuck politics.
Politics.
we hate everybody stupid.
Well, look,
no matter what side they're on.
The way I look at it, I try and be a man of integrity, meaning like I try and keep my word. And 99.99% of politicians never keep their word or promises.
Thank you very much.
Ever.
Yo, dude, is this that guy not talking everything that we've been talking the last fucking since we've known this?
They're asking online.
We might have to have you come in here on like as a regular fucking guy.
What's
So
that?
what do you think? Should people get vaccinated?
Oh, they're asking online. Should you? Get vaccinated?
Listen,
It's up to you. It's up
right.
to what you feel.
Thank you. Nobody should be forced to do anything.
No, it's
That's
up to
it.
you. It should be a decision. But
Well, and I'm going to add to that. It would be illegal to force vax based on the Nuremberg,
already doing
the Nuremberg thing, because these are experimental devices. These are not historical. What we define as vaccines, like a little bit of COVID, and they expose and you build up antibodies. They're not that. They're mRNA sequences that we still don't know a lot of stuff about. And again, I'm not anti-vax, but the way I look at it, my Italian grandfather lived to 106. He lived through the Spanish flu. He was fine. He still drove at 106. And so I think I come from the same stock. I'm not particularly worried about getting COVID-19.
Personal preference.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything you're saying right now leads to personal fucking
And,
preference.
and I'll add to that. I want you guys to really think about. Okay, so I was a biology major in college, and I spent 10 years in medical sales at the high level.
That's what I
top
was
tier,
bringing up.
top tier of medical sales.
Oh, we're gonna get to that too.
And so I've been reading journals from reputable sources like the New England Journal of Medicine and the Lancet. Not getting my science from news stations, right? And I'm not going to side with either news station. All of them.
They're all full of shit.
Yes, but I posted something in March about this, and I said, with regards to the lockdowns, and with regards to the masks and social distancing, and I said, look, No one is gonna. You cannot convince me that masks and social distancing can outsmart billions of years of evolution. Viruses, bacteria, they are ubiquitous.
They work for a reason.
They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. There's probably staph on this wall right here.
Right.
100%.
You have an immune system.
100%.
You have an immune system. It's called survival of the fittest. It's called Darwinism. We have an immune system that gets exposed to these viruses. Look, it's It's going to be a symbiotic relationship. We will never get rid of viruses and bacteria in the world. We have to learn to live with them.
It just doesn't work.
We have to learn to live with
and
them.
I love that you brought that up because the same people who tell you, trust the science, wear a mask. I'm like, fuck you, trust the science.
Yeah, but hold on.
Don't tell me to fucking wash my
I don't
fucking,
think-
we have to be involved.
I don't
And
think the science and the
act-
mask are. I don't know why the people use
They're
that,
not
but I don't
mutually
think they
exclusive.
could.
It doesn't work. It
like,
doesn't work.
You can follow.
I'm not saying
science,
masks don't work. Don't get me wrong.
right? But you
I'm
can
saying-
follow science without the words of
I'm
use
saying
the
the
fucking
thought,
mask.
My
Like that
point
doesn't
is
make any
the
sense.
thought process doesn't work, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying masks don't work. Obviously, masks work to a certain degree to certain elements. The flu, like my same friends who are like super fucking right wing. This virus is such bullshit. All of a sudden, the flu disappeared because COVID's so important. I'm like, no, motherfucker.
'Cause you wanna
All of a
fucking-
sudden, flu disappeared because everybody's home and people are wearing masks.
Like,
how
for the-
fucking hard is that to like realize?
Right, like we wiped
Businesses are
out.
closed.
We wiped
Bars
out
are
the
closed.
flu.
Theaters are closed. Everything's closed. Nobody's interacting.
All the places
The
that
flu-
are dirty.
The flu's dead.
Right, the flu died in
How is
America because we're no longer spreading it
But
within
this-
each
this
other.
My whole point
So,
is
but,
like,
but hold on. How do we have 500,000 COVID deaths? People won't interact. We just
Yeah,
hold
well,
on.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
using the reasoning of
well,
no-
they said
no-
mathematically the COVID spreads, whatever, 20 times quicker than the flu.
Quicker than the flu,
because
right.
the flu doesn't transfer within
and they
20
also
feet
said
or
the
whatever.
people,
Listen,
but it doesn't
honestly,
hit everybody
I don't
equally.
fucking know.
But
I'm
they
not a
said people
virologist.
with a depleted immune
Hold on,
systems.
hold on,
Those
hold
with
on.
depleted immune
When-
systems.
When you
Oh,
when you guys went-
studio Mike's here. Hey, studio
shit.
Mike.
Welcome back.
What's up, buddy?
when you guys went to the Mets game,
Yeah.
how did they do it with vaccine?
Oh, they have
Well,
a
they-
section
One
called
day,
the vaccine,
well, no.
the
When
vaccinated
when
section.
I went to 3 games, and it was you had to get a rapid test. The last game I went to, so then my 4th game, which was last week, as of Monday, no more tests.
All right, so I'm gonna interject here. I just went to a Yankees game on Tuesday night this week. My friend John McCormick. I don't know, Mike. Have you ever met my friend John McCormick? He's an actor, very talented actor. I just gave you a little shout out there, John. You can buy me a couple beers the next time
John
I see
McCormick, shout out.
John
What up,
McCormick.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
Gay,
so
gay porn or
Gay,
like real actor?
Gay Paul McCormick.
Hey,
real actor?
John actually has a show. John actually has a show up right now at Axis Theater Company, so he's a real true stage beast.
Good for you, John. Congratulations, brother. Do it.
And so to celebrate his birthday, we all went to the Yankees game, and they got a full suite for us. And so Yankee Stadium is divided, vax, no vax. And all we had to do was get our temperatures checked. We went in, you have to go in separate gates. So we had to go in either gate 4 or gate 6.
This is how it starts.
They're
yes.
doing that same
This is
same
how
thing.
it starts.
All right. So what happens if I was to go with you guys?
The revolution is coming. What's that? Sorry.
What happens if I was to go with you guys? You guys are vaccinated. One of us is not vaccinated.
Right.
What do we do then?
You can't do it. You can't sit together.
We got to
We
sit
can't
in the
sit together.
borderline.
You got to sit on the other. Yeah, you go
We gotta
back
sit on
across
the
the
border.
border. You go back across the border.
all right, I can tell you this. I shouldn't say that. Prior to Monday, you could sit together as long as you had rapid test results. Now, everybody's changing their protocol. If you're vaccinated, they're going to allow up to 90% capacity in the stadium. They're going to allow for 10% of unvaccinated.
Just to sprinkle.
So you're going to pay more for your ticket
If you're not vaxxed.
if you're not vaxxed,
yeah.
because you're essentially paying for all the seats around you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they did it the Knicks, so it's fucking insane.
It's annoying. It's starting to get to the
I-
point where like you get angry.
I was looking for for vaccinated seats, right? So I'm looking at $200. My coworker bought 2 unvaccinated seats for Game 1, the Knicks playoff game. $2,100 for 2
Wow.
no.
because he was unvaccinated.
Wow.
Talk about fucking insanity.
So here's the question that I have for the general public, and please feel free to type in with questions because I struggle with this. If you get the vaccine, why would you care if someone else gets vaxxed? If you have the vaccine, you're protected,
If
right?
it works, it shouldn't matter.
Right. Like
I've
if,
said
like,
this-
like if you have a mask on, you shouldn't worry about someone else's mask if
So
if your mask is working.
100% correct. So I'm not. Listen, by nature, I'm not an anti-vax guy. I'm not.
Nor am I.
My mom was a hippie. I'll tell you that. I'm vaccinated.
Yep. Same.
My son, my ex-wife was super
Is.
anti I shouldn't say was is super anti-vax.
Okay.
She's also super anti loyalty.
Marriage?
Loyalty. No, I mean what was the other one?
Marriage.
I was looking for another one.
Anti-marriage?
No, organized religion. She was super anti-organized religion. She's more spiritual, which I kind
Holistic.
of I
Very
could-
holistic.
Right. I could get that. I
sure,
understand that.
sure.
So we agreed on those. You know, a couple of things we agreed on was one of those. So she was like, I don't want Shawnee to be vaccinated. And then my son's 21. So we're talking about 21 years ago. Autism. You know, there's a lot going on, and I'm like. And this, you know, there was no science either way, but there's no science telling me that autism is not created by all these fucking vaccines that they're really giving kids at a very young age.
Yep.
It's not even like they're waiting.
Well,
they're giving these kids all these shots at like ridiculously.
When
young.
I was a kid, every time I went to the doctor's office, and I hate needles because of this, they used to have to. They gave you a shot for everything. Every time something new came in, they gave you a shot. If it was antibiotics, they gave you a shot. And they would have to hold me down, kicking and screaming, because I didn't want to take.
Because you're a pussy. I mean, I'm sorry. Wait, what? And
I can understand why not. Why
Insulting- I'm
yeah,
insulting-
and
the
the
king of
insulting
insults?
king, or somebody not being loyal to
apparently,
you.
I'm the king of insults.
I can
by the way.
understand somebody not being loyal to you.
Apparently, I'm the king of insults.
Somebody writes, companies should be able to decide what they want to do with unvaccinated people. If not, should the government decide what companies can do?
No, I don't think. Listen, everybody has a right to not go to a game.
Right,
I'm
like
not
if
saying
you're-
the Mets own the stadium.
Right, if they say
fuck-
you can't come in here without a shot, then you can't come in here without a shot. It's up to them.
I'm not here to judge the Mets or the Nets or anything. I could say, well, I can judge. I could say you fucked up for quadrupling the price.
Right.
That's kind of ridiculous. But I agree. It's fucking free enterprise. They should be able to do what they want.
Right. Was it a dick move?
But at the
Yeah,
same point,
it's a huge dick
don't
move.
tell people they should have to get the vaccine. That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
St. John's University, NYU, any of the privately owned schools are forcing their student body to get vaccinated. The amount of money these people are spending to go to like NYU, come on, dude, you're going to a prestigious school, and you're going to force somebody to do something like that.
See, what I don't understand is like this vaccination, right? It's not in a cost, right? So whatever companies have developed it, they have it. So like Pfizer got theirs from overseas. That's the European shot that they took, and they were approved by it. So there's not an incentive, like there's no money involved. Like, you know, St. John's isn't getting $1 million for getting people vaccinated.
They wanna be-
So I don't understand why forcing people. You know, your choice is to go do it. You're $1 billion company. You want.
It surprises me from the Catholic schools too,
Right,
Because they're usually like not on
Anti-everything.
everything.
Which is it's
don't
just
have
surprising
sex,
me.
don't get
It-
shots,
honestly, it
don't
drives-
drink, don't drive.
It drives me insane because the spread, you know, the ratio of it spreading and getting really when it first came out, everybody said 30 to 40% of the population was asymptomatic or can't spread it. So why is everybody obligated to get fucking the vaccine?
Wait a minute. So you said, repeat that last part, because I'm looking for something on my phone now on this topic. You said anti-symptomatic.
No, when if you remember when the
Asymptomatic.
the science first popped.
Yep.
And they were doing like the after like a year, they were doing the numbers of people that were, you know, according to the population, the people that were infected.
Mm-hmm.
And they said anywhere between 30 to 40% of the population can be asymptomatic and not get sick and not spread it. They weren't sure if it could spread it or not, but they knew that 30% of the population wasn't getting sick, right?
So I'm going to cut you off there. So science is like my thing. I'm kind of like a science geek. And so this whole thing with asymptomatic transmission is a lie. Tony Fauci will tell it to you. It's straight.
Never exists.
Look, in the rare occurrence that one asymptomatic patient could transmit, it would never drive an outbreak. Those are Tony Fauci's words.
So why are they forcing 100% of the population to get fucking vaccinated?
I question the
Because
same
it's a
thing.
fucking listen. There's
Look,
something.
you know how much Pfizer stands to make annually? $29 billion.
The first shot's free. What about every 6 months it
It's
wears
the
off?
booster where they're saying there's a potential
You need a booster,
shot.
and every
booster
6
shot.
months it wears off. Who's paying for the backup shots? Who's gonna?
You are.
Who's stopping from somebody 2 years?
You
from now?
are.
2 years
You're
from
pay-
now.
You're paying for it
2025.
out of your own fucking pocket.
2025. What's to stop the government going? oh my God, there's a fucking COVID outbreak. Get your shot, but it's not free.
Not this one. It's not.
Fucking bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. That's my opinion. We're all entitled to them. That's all I'm saying. I was never an anti-vax guy, even though my son is not vaccinated.
Yep.
My son's not vaccinated. He's 21 years old. And people look at people like me as a bad person.
Well, and I want
And like you said something that made me bring it up. If you're so convinced that these fucking vaccines work, why are you worried if I'm not vaccinated?
should not be.
You shouldn't be. That's all there is to
You're
it.
in the clear. You're in the clear.
And all they say is older people and newborns.
Well, they
you know
said,
what?
like,
Keep your fucking old grandma and your newborn kid home.
What they were saying.
Don't
like,
blame don't blame me for them getting
No,
sick.
what they were saying was part of it. What they were
Fuck
saying,
outta
yes,
here.
they were saying people with depleted immune systems, like those are the most. You have
Stay
to watch-
home.
right? What they eventually said was we were hoping for herd immunity, right? 7 out of 10 people get vaccinated. The 30% of the population we don't have to worry about.
That's right.
Right. So as long as you have 7 out of 10, you can't spread it to anyone.
That's
know?
the point. But
Well,
they
that's what
want
they
they
wanted.
want 10 out of 10 vaccinated.
Well, they're actually what they said was in both in New York and what Biden had said was that they didn't ask for 100%. They're hoping. That's why there are all these incentives, the lottery and all that, is that they want to push for at least 70 to 75% of the. So they can get that. They can get that number down. Then they'll feel better about it.
If we didn't lock down 2 weeks to flatten the curve, start that whole thing, we would have had herd immunity by early summer last year.
I agree.
I'm
We
not
would've
saying
had-
no.
that's- no,
right.
that-
I'm
that-
not saying
that-
no.
That's science.
There's no science behind what's going on right now.
None.
Right, because there was a
There's no
professor
science.
from Minnesota.
And the
who-
left was poo-pooing the term herd immunity back then.
Fauci is like a fucking basketball game on a fast break. He went back and forth like 20 fucking times, back and forth.
But it's
And
like-
people don't realize Tony Fauci has again, I don't want to get political here, but he has a real history dating back to the early '80s with the HIV/AIDS quote unquote heterosexual epidemic.
I posted the pandemic, and I was called a fucking conspiracy theorist.
With Bob Gallo, they stole the HIV isolate from Montague. Yep.
I shared that article,
Yep.
and I was
Yep.
called a conspiracy theorist. Now listen, I'm not sitting here going that exactly happened. All I'm saying is there's a right. It should be shared.
Yes.
It should be allowed to be fucking shared to people so they can make their own decision.
I agree.
And the holy thing is, they kept sharing it, and every time it was shared, it was taken off the internet.
That's right.
Every
Right.
single. But they kept swearing, "Oh, this lady's a fucking kook. She's out of her mind.
Yep.
She's full of shit. This,
Well,
that, and the other."
which- not-
Every
who-
time it was on the fucking internet, it was taken down within 2 days. If you're so convinced that this lady's out of her mind,
Yep.
Which
why
one?
use the first one with the pandemic? Because there was 3 different pandemics. The videos.
So there's a movie.
And it was basically proof. The second one basically proved that I shouldn't say proof because there was no proof.
It's not proof.
There was factual reports of things that were done, documents, signatures.
Yep.
Fauci with the AIDS thing. The whole thing was brought up.
Yep.
Okay. Then it was brought up in the second one. It was brought up how the lab that they control was about a mile away from Wuhan. Okay. There's no way that they could have easily thought that they could get away with this, and that's what drives me fucking insane.
Yep.
The lab that apparently now Fauci's saying, oh, it could be man.
No, it's unbelievable now.
Right? So now he's admitting it.
Well,
so,
they will
But
call
he's saying that now because of the email shit.
well,
yes.
because they
Because of
released
the email.
40,000 emails.
Because
But
on the email, he's saying it appeared to be man-made.
but my point
he
is-
wasn't saying that in the.
Yeah, but
in the press
his buddy from the Chinese scientist was saying, listen, keep your heads up. Like this, just want to let you know this is going down.
Dude,
Pass
Democrats-
the information. And he passed the. Listen, the one thing about Fauci is if you don't believe him or you believe him, however it goes, he's been in the game for a long
He's
time,
a
right?
fucking savage liar,
just
dude.
like. Wait, hold on.
He makes $5 million
Yeah,
a year.
who cares
he's,
what
a,
he makes?
he's a hospital administrator.
He's a hospital administrator. Listen,
That's
I'm
what he
just
is.
saying is when you
No,
look.
I don't mean that. I mean I'm making a joke. I'm making fun of him.
I agree with
Yes.
you.
If you look at all the people that are in the political world, right? Politics behind it. Fauci's in there because he's been under 5 administrations.
He's a politician.
6, he's a politician.
Fifth president, right?
Right? 5th president. He's under. So if you take all
He's a
the people
fucking
that have a
politician.
title under politics, and you don't think that they're in the fucking cahoots,
Well, see,
and
listen.
they're not dirty, then you don't know what you're
And
talking about. You have no fucking clue.
That was almost a perfect segue because I brought up a discussion.
I would just like to finish my third fucking guy that I would fucking meet alive, medium, dead, or rare. I don't even know.
Medium rare.
Was he cooked?
As far
This
as,
discussion.
I have to-
as
I
far
got
as
my-
the emails, the emails they said he was communicating with Bill Gates.
Yeah.
several times a day.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. The
with
emails are not good.
Gates is the other thing is because
The emails are not good, dude.
He put donated to all these charities in other countries. People felt obligated to give him personal information about
The leaked-
vaccination,
listen,
and
these
so
emails-
but
he
check this
became
out.
their go-to guy.
There
you
was,
don't- you
how
don't
about
see
this?
it
There were
weird that
3
big-
attempts to block the release of the emails. 3 attempts.
You don't see it weird that Bill Gates is buying up, like, he's the biggest farm owner in the United States.
Do I find it weird? No.
Like he owns.
When
all-
when
you're a
they do
farmer, you wanna sell,
when they
he
do
buys
corrupt
from you.
shit like that, I'm not
Nothing's
surprised by
weird
it
anymore.
Nothing's weird anymore.
I just
I'm
don't
not
know. I just
surprised.
don't know why Bill Gates is vaccinating people. He's a computer guy. He's not a doctor.
He's an idiot.
Right.
He's a fucking
He,
idiot.
he built a master chip for a computer,
Well,
but yet
I'm-
he
I'm-
has influence
Me saying
on who
he's
gets
me saying
vaccinated.
he's an idiot makes me sound like an idiot.
Yeah,
but-
you fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
because the guy's actually one of the most brilliant men of all time. He's just a scandalous, not
They're all
good
scandalous, man. There's not one that you ever turn
But-
around and go, that guy's good.
Before we get off the negative shit,
That's
I
a
just
guy.
want to say one thing.
You want me like to what was it?
Because it's true. Because we all agree. We all literally none of us have any like.
I was hoping to have something just to argue for the sake
no,
of it.
but we
I
don't
didn't.
because it's so evident. I think it's like if you have 2 eyeballs and like a decent fucking brain, you can see what's going on in front of you.
You can.
Well, you know what? Look, I'm not saying I'm a Trump fan. I'm not. But I'm going to say this.
Yeah, and I'm not either.
I just like fair balance.
Clearly you know
I just
that.
like fair balance in the media. A year ago, when he was calling it the Wuhan virus, he was
They
called
attacked him.
He was called a xenophobe. Now they're saying it's the Wuhan virus.
Dude, I'm telling you, I got a man crush on you, bro. Because I swear to God, I was fucking called. Listen, I was called a Trumper, and I was like, I couldn't have been more offended because the guy is and Mike knows how I feel.
Fucking idiot.
He's an immoral piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
But his policies were on point. And if he knew how to, I always said this.
That
is what
isn't
I-
a policy. That's an opinion. But
This
he,
what I,
that's all
you're
of it.
correct. You're
That's
correct.
That's not
but
a
I'm
policy.
saying his policies in general. He was also a business guy who was in bed with big oil. The whole pipeline shit was garbage. He had a lot of fucking flaws. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Nobody's fucking flawless at all.
Sure.
But he was on point when it came to the goodness of America.
Yes.
His fucking bottom line was the benefit of this country.
Yes.
Good white, black, white, Spanish,
Yep.
everything. Every single person was prospering,
Yep.
and he wanted all of that.
Yes.
He was called a racist. People can make up. Me and Mike, I shouldn't say you. I'm not going to blame you. I started a rumor like 2 weeks ago that Andy Pettis gay. So if you hear that rumor,
You know where it came.
you
the
know where
Mike
it
and
came
Sean
from.
show.
Because Andy Pettis looked like a little Fruit Loop. He looked like he was lighting the loafers, right?
I said
That's all
about the
good.
HGH.
Nothing wrong with
Because
that.
the HGH,
Nothing
right?
wrong with
they
that.
injected each other, and he goes, the only reason they injected each other because he's gay.
I don't have any influence. So my rumor is not going to turn into fact. But there are people with fucking influence
Yes.
that can turn rumor into fact.
Yes.
And they make him. Trump used to be in rap videos. All of a sudden, he's a fucking racist.
He used to have.
Are you kidding me?
He used to have lunch with Sean Combs all
That's
the time.
That's what I'm saying,
Well,
bro.
yeah, like I know where it comes from.
You
Look,
don't, and I always said this: racists do not interact with people they're racist against. It
right.
doesn't happen.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, like
so you want to hate him for him. Don't hate him for making some bullshit up.
Like the
And
thing with the
discussion I had,
racist, yeah, but the thing with the racist politics, I could see that, like, you know, when you come from Queens and unfortunately it's in your wherever you're from, and it comes in your vernacular where you say derogatory.
you talk how you want to talk.
right? Like a derogatory word that you've learned for like
100%.
Asian or
Mike,
black
if I was
or
on a
white.
national level, the
So
way I
when he-
talk, they call me a racist.
right?
I'm
With the
telling
way
you
he
right now.
the way he spoke, I will disagree on certain things. I'm just not going to get into that when it comes to him. But the way he spoke as if somebody doesn't like Asians, right?
He
But
didn't like anybody.
Right,
He
but-
talked about Christians like not
But
Christians, everybody.
He didn't even go to church, but he made people believe.
Dude,
he made people
he
believe
never
that he
said
was
a racist-
spiritual.
listen, dude.
I know what I'm saying is the people that think
it was
is,
all made up bullshit. dude.
because when you hear his vernacular, he probably said when Chinese people, he probably said
Vernacular is
ching.
the word, the best thing.
He
for the
probably said
vernacular.
ching. He probably said ching.
Vernacular is the best thing because
It's not the best thing. It was the worst thing. And that's what I mean. is like-
The best thing you're saying. His vernacular was awful.
Right, like when you say
Because-
something bad about black people, or whatever your derogatory phrase is, he said it without question. He wasn't worried about
No,
it.
dude, that's not true. Look,
That's
how
what
about
they're.
this?
That
How
is
about
true.
this?
That's what they're talking about. That's
No,
what
but
they're mad at.
What I'm telling you, you're buying into the bullshit.
No,
They're
no
make-
bullshit. You're not listening to me. I'm telling you that because he said Chinese virus, or he may have even said the word fucking chink, is what make people think automatically that he's a racist. I'm saying as
He
a
didn't
guy
say
from
fucking chick. He said Chinese virus.
no,
is
I'm,
he racist?
I'm
Bert?
just
You thought he
I'm
was?
fucking agreeing with you.
No, you thought.
Do
he
I
was-
think he's a racist?
When
I
he
don't
said
think he's
China,
a racist.
when
I
he-
never said that.
When he first said China, I'm asking you a
I
question.
made fun of him, but I
Did
didn't
he-
think he was a racist.
You didn't think he was
Here's
racist
my
saying that?
point. Because I think as a guy who grew up in fucking New York, who's used to having everybody around him, and in his own
Saying whatever he
vernacular,
wants.
saying whatever he wants, he got used to it, except on the biggest stage, you don't do that.
Correct.
That's what I'm telling
I
you.
agree with that 1,000,000%.
But then
You're
again,
the president of the United States. You got to show a little fucking constraint.
but then
little decorum.
But then again,
A lot of decorum.
I have a video right here their friend sent to me with that reporter saying, "Why do you keep calling it the Chinese virus? Why do you keep?" And you know what he says? Because it's from China.
It's made in China. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong
I
with that?
didn't- but
That's
I-
my point. The Spanish flu. They never had a.
They
no-
never had a problem
with
with
anything.
The Spanish
Anything.
flu.
Right.
That's my point. Yes,
No,
Nobody was
I'm
offended.
just saying that.
Mike, nobody was offended
What
by
there are-
anything
what-
until Donald Trump
Chi-
became
China-
president.
No, before that. Before
Well, no,
Donald
it was
Trump
be-
became
it was
president.
before, it was before.
Wait,
It was
Obama
before.
was president. a
Everybody's
black guy.
offended by that.
I'm not going to have a middle-aged black guy tell me what to do.
No, well, listen,
People
listen,
were just
listen.
fucking
Yeah, but they-
racists
Trump-
popping out
I
all
mean,
over the
listen,
place.
Buddy,
Obama-
what white America voted in Barack Obama?
No
sir.
question about
Not
it.
the second time. Not the second time. He got in. He didn't get the white America.
You think
didn't
Black
vote him
America
in.
voted him in? You're out of your mind.
I think everyone else voted in.
You know- you
I
know
think
what-
less
you know
white
why
people
Biden-
voted the
you know
second
what-
time
you know
around.
why
You got
Biden-
70% of the white vote.
Yeah, 100%.
70%
And
of not the majority.
You know why Biden won the election, right?
Because I don't know.
40%.
That I have no fucking idea.
40%
He
of
don't
the
even know.
40% of the
He doesn't
election
even know.
40% of the election body in all the Democratic states were new voters.
Listen, do you know how many? Do you know how many people
40%.
voted with the
40%.
second? How many people voted the second time Obama came around?
He-
And how many people voted this time around?
Donald
Still
Trump-
less than half of the fucking
Dude,
population.
Donald Trump almost lost Florida.
Still less than
He
half
lost
of the
Georgia.
population.
He lost Georgia. Georgia hasn't been lost by a fucking Republican in 50 years. He
You know
lost
why?
Georgia because
Less than
all
less
of
than-
Atlanta, all of Atlanta voted. None of them motherfuckers ever voted before.
Do you know why?
And they voted for the wrong
Because
reasons. Because
everybody
now the country's a fucking
Retires
mess.
from up here and goes down there.
Right, they go down to
And
Florida.
takes the logic with
with them from here down there.
and
All right,
tries to implement it. down
Fuck
there.
politics. I hate it.
See, this is what happens. This
I
is
hate
you.
it.
This
I
is.
hate it. I hate it.
well,
I hate
This
politics.
is what happens.
So let's for the next like
gone to
little
shit.
for the next few minutes, we're gonna talk about Mark and his accomplishments in the acting world.
So,
And I wanna-
as I finish my last
I wanna-
fucking sentence about the three people that I would like to meet, it's Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, and JFK.
Yes. All right, let's talk about JFK.
That was good.
Can we talk about?
That was good.
Can we talk about JFK? Want to talk about the Bay of Pigs?
Can you go fuck yourself?
Want to talk about Joe Kennedy? What do you want to talk about?
Well, see, that's a
No,
crazy
it's your
story
turn.
because as iconic as he is, he's got a lot of
Joe
there's a
Kennedy?
lot- the Joe Kennedy look.
Oh, he's a fucking.
The
icon.
reason the SEC was created is because of Joe Kennedy, because he manipulated stocks, and when the whole fucking country was shit poor and starving, he was wealthy. He was also a moonshiner, and he was all in shit
probably
with
the
the
most
bad guys.
organized criminal of all time.
Organized,
Hold on.
completely.
Hold on. You forgot about the Catholic Church.
Yeah, and that on top of it,
Well, he was part of that.
and they were okay with it, so they funded Joe Kennedy to go out there
I'm
and do
Irish
this.
American. They're all part of it.
I was raised Catholic too.
Yeah, so-
My dad used to say that all the time. The biggest organized crime organization,
Catholic
Church.
Yep,
They were
absolutely.
like, yeah, and it was like, just imagine that he knew all the people that were out against him, right? He knew who
Yeah,
they were.
sure.
And he went out there and he was like, I got to live my life. He can't go in hiding. And they sure now, and it go,
JFK is a fascinating dude.
He
because,
is.
because
He is.
one of the problems that we have in this country, it starts with one of his policies from back then, and it will never be reversed because it's attached. His name is attached to it. So what are the freer immigration laws that we have? Not the open borders that everybody calls it, but the freer immigration laws that we have were put in by him, and all the politicians in time have tried to tweak it. But the majority refuse to touch it because no one wants the irony of everybody because it's a Kennedy policy. And because
Irie.
That's a nice. I was just going to comment on that.
fucking
That's a
Jamaican.
very nice word.
I didn't say
Or
it's
ire.
the irony.
Jesus Christ.
That's a very nice word.
Yeah. What do you watch? You listen to 107 BLS before you got here? Davin Levy.
Who'd that be racist now?
Rocking
It's the
you,
irony.
rocking you, rocking
Anyway,
you.
he didn't want the anger. Nobody wants the anger that comes with anything that has as a name attached to it. Same thing as Abraham Lincoln. There's these little policies that we have adjusted, but nobody wants to fully break it down to clean it out because of these two iconic figures were
Ruined-
assassinated, if they were alive later, and you're like, wow, you were a shitty fucking
Piece of
president,
shit. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They would be like, well, let's get rid of it.
Right.
But because they died in office,
That's true.
they refused to.
Every time
adjust
somebody
them.
dies, they're better than they are. Every
always,
fucking time.
you know?
Piece of shit guy beat his wife. Oh, he's dead. He was such a good man.
Did you
No,
hear
he
about that
wasn't.
money he
was a
gave
fucking
away?
piece of shit.
Right,
but
like
you
deep
can't
down
say that because he's fucking in the
I
coffin.
mean, you can.
I can. I have no
you
problem.
can now.
I swear to God. I won't
You
even
can
go to
now.
a bad person's funeral.
Well,
Fuck
you know what? You could even transition that. We could segue that into an acting spiel. Like, was James Dean really that great of an actor? He only really did 3 films.
3
You know
films,
what?
and he wasn't great
I
at
can
it.
honestly tell you, I never seen a Jimmy Dean film in my life. I don't even know what he
No,
looks
Jimmy
like.
Dean made breakfast sausage.
Yeah, sausage. That's the same guy, right? Oh, we can't call James
Yeah,
Jimmy?
yeah. It's James or Jimmy. It's
right.
2 different guys.
James. Fuck him, too. I don't know. I've never seen a James Dean
No,
film.
you haven't. He only made 3 of them.
And he died in filming Giant. So the Rebel Without a Cause, Giant, and East of Eden.
Okay, I think I'm gonna watch those.
You're
I'm kind of
you're
old now,
probably
so I'm
not.
like,
You're
I
probably
know, you know,
not.
I'm old now. I'm old now. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, bro, I got the computer. Listen, if it was work, if I had to go to Blockbuster and rent the fucking movie,
You
I'm
would-
like,
no,
the
forget
fuck
it.
out of
Well-
But I could sit on my laptop, pop it up, throw it right onto the fucking TV. It's
Yeah.
fucking the future, dude.
well, yeah, you
I don't
could-
know if you watch the Jetsons, but the fucking future's here.
Well,
bro.
the flip phones and all that shit, huh?
flip phones.
Well, that's it. Like when you
Hoverboards, right?
the hoverboards, they're here. What else we got? Yeah, so I think it's like when on iconic characters and people in history, no matter who they are and when they existed, whether they did good or bad, you would like to have an interview. You'd like to sit down.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like anything that I think that like Hitler did would be
No,
like
with bad people. You know what it is with bad people?
But I
though?
would like to say like
I
if-
would jump across the desk and like kill him.
Yeah, like I couldn't. the minute
you know
I
what I
had,
mean?
like I
Yeah.
said, like you interview Hitler, and the minute he starts telling you why he
I
did
can't be
something,
around that evil,
right?
dude.
Like
I
you
can't.
just like.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm not
saying.
trying to treat him like a fucking angel or anything. I really feel like I'm a good guy. And I swear to God, I don't get violent. I don't do that unless it's really necessary.
Right, so you take these iconic
People
figures
like
in
that,
life.
like I've seen some bad shit happen, and the worst anger and violence I've ever had was when I've seen stuff. Like when I worked in TV production, I saw a guy punch his girl in the, like some girl, not his girl, some random girl in the face in a car. And I used to smoke cigarettes in front of the studio, right? Well, I used to smoke cigarettes, and then it was in front of the studio. I don't want to say like I used to smoke cigarettes in front of the studio. We had a break in between shows. I'm downstairs smoking a
Back
cigarette.
then, when smoking was okay.
So, fucking, there's traffic. It's 26th Street going east side.
Yep.
And this fucking girl is like, it's bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
In front of this guy, we have a driveway, and I'm in a driveway, and there's no cars there, but there's cars everywhere else. So he drives in, like next to her,
Yep.
gets out of the car, walks over to her. I thought they were together. You know, I thought they knew each other.
Yeah.
He fucking walks over to her and just boom punches her in her face. Windows open. I'm like, what the fuck? Gets in his car. He's got like 5 feet in front. Goes in front of her because now traffic goes on. Takes off. I look at her. She's like, "Bah." Bro, I start fucking chasing this motherfucker down 26th Street. I caught him on between 6th and 7th Avenue. Bro, I fucking run up to the car. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He gets out of the passenger side, jumps in the passenger side, and goes into the building. Like, runs into some building.
It's a building for protection.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't the only one to chase them. From my company I was, but 2 other cars did. Mm-hmm. So whatever. So we chase him in the building. Now they want to answer the door, and it's like a fucking architect. It was like a interior design architect company, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm ringing the bell, bing, 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 ringing the bell, and they won't answer. And I'm like, just so you know, whoever just came upstairs fucking punched a woman in the face in the middle of the street. Like, I'm blowing this dude up. I'm like, don't come out, because if you do, I'm waiting for you. Like, I had no intentions of sitting there waiting for him, but I wanted him to not want to come out of the fucking building. Dude, I watched this happen, and I wanted to kill this dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know this girl. I didn't know her from a fucking bowl
Doesn't
of
matter.
Apple Jacks.
Sometimes it's just their natural reaction.
It was
like
it was
they
it was
need
it
to-
was it was
to
a
leap
it was a
into-
it was a traffic like what
Dispute?
do you call it? What's the word? I'm
Sounds
looking for?
like
when you're in traffic and you fucking get mad.
you get road rage.
Road rage.
road rage. It was
Road
an incident of road rage.
Yeah.
And the guy punches a helpless little girl. Not only this is the best part. She stayed in front of my building because she was a mess.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he busted her.
Yeah.
Little white girl. And he was like probably like my age, and he was a mid-aged black dude. Bro, her boyfriend shows up. He's like 6'6" black dude. Fucking, he must. I think he played basketball for like one of the schools. He was like a local.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck happened?" He looked at me. He goes, "Yo, I need to talk to you." I'm like, "What the fuck happened?" I'm like, "Bro," I told him exactly what happened. Chased him into the building. I showed him the building and everything. I was like, I waited down here. He was like, "Let me tell you," and he shook my hand. He was like, "Nobody in New York does this shit no more. Like, people just let shit happen.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You watch somebody get pushed in front of the train, you don't care.
Yeah.
You just watch it.
Yeah.
These are like, I'm not trying to like toot my horn, but
Go ahead.
when you see something like that,
Yeah.
if you don't do nothing, if you don't just let it happen, you're like the problem.
You are the problem.
You're a
100%.
miserable, you're a miserable,
disgusting
fuck,
human being.
and you're allowing
It's-
this to happen.
It's the new
There's
generation now
and
of
that's what
everybody
goes on in
whipping
the
out
city.
they pull out their phones,
There's no
take a picture
accountability.
rather than physically try to
no-
help or protect.
No
So-
accountability.
So I love that we're talking about this because I always think about like junior high school. I was a late bloomer. I was a tiny kid in junior high school, man. I was a pipsqueak. And there was a lot of derelicts at my junior high school, kids that were like 17 in 8th grade because they'd stayed back so many times and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of bullying going on around and stuff like that. But everyone in that school knew, like, if you say something to someone's waiting outside of the school at the end of the day. Yeah, that's right. We don't have accountability like that.
Accountability.
Yes.
That's it.
Because you learn respect that way.
And
right?
I'm sorry, I mentioned that they were black. The only reason why I mentioned is because when the black dude punched the girl, he was like, "You white bitch," whatever the fuck he was.
Yeah.
Immediately judging her. And then when her boyfriend, her fiance showed up,
Yeah.
he's a 6 foot, twice the size of the black dude that punched her.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, before you're immediately, he immediately judged, "Little stupid white bitch, I'm gonna punch her in the face." And he was like, thuggy. He was like a punk, you know?
Yeah.
That was the point, though.
Yeah.
Like, the point is, like you said, there's no accountability.
Yeah.
Man. People are not afraid to get punched in the fucking face. That's the prayer.
Because it's not going to happen.
Because it won't happen.
It won't happen.
Because you're gonna get sued.
Not because
you're
you're
gonna get
right.
arrested,
Because
you're
it
gonna
like,
get fucking this, that, and the other.
you don't want to be the one to do it. In your mind, you're like, that's a.
The reason why I have
should
respect
get
for people
punched.
is because I got punched in the fucking face when I didn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
You learn pretty
It's true.
quickly.
Fact.
That's the way it goes.
So from sadness and anger
To happy.
happy times.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the new Mr. Rogers neighborhood, and our guest is Mark Doherty. Thanks for sharing your opinions, Mark Doherty.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. So, Mark,
Mike's got questions.
We got questions.
No, don't say we. You're the one who wrote them down.
it's not questions. I just, knowing you
This is the
personally-
most prepared I've ever seen him, by the way.
No, shut
So
up. I
you should
prepare
be
for
honored.
everything. It doesn't matter. Just that he talks so much shit, I never get a chance to go through my notes. So you touched on it, like coming from Rhode Island,
Yeah.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
You are one of how many?
I have 8 brothers and sisters. My mom, actually, I love telling this. My mom was actually pregnant 13 times, and she gave birth to 10 children. She lost one baby to crib death at a month. That was my 4th sibling, Erin, and then she went on to have all these babies. So yeah, one of 9 kids. My mom was a homemaker. She stayed at home, and my dad was a salesman in the jewelry industry. Yeah, I was public school my whole life.
Yeah.
Athlete, did well academically, and was fortunate enough to get into.
You got a scholarship?
I had a partial academic scholarship.
Partial, and when you what school was that?
Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut.
You played 4 years?
I played 4 years college football there. I lettered 3. Didn't have as big of a career as I would have wanted. I had an ankle injury my sophomore spring, and that required me to get surgery the following fall. So I missed a little bit of my junior year.
Did you come back for your senior year?
Well, I still played my junior year, but I missed like 3 games, and then I came back for my senior year. So, but it was great. It was wonderful experience.
What was your position?
I was a defensive back,
Oh.
yeah, it was a great experience. It was in Hartford, Connecticut, and I guess that's kind of like I always make the joke that was my first experience in inner city living. Right? I went to college in Hartford, Connecticut. When I graduated, I moved to New Haven, Connecticut. Lived there for 8 years, and then I moved to New York.
Yeah, okay.
And been in New York for 18 years. So
18 years now he's been in New York. That's cool.
Yeah.
What did you do when you came to New York? What was your...
So when I got out of college, it's probably important for me to state this. So I dabbled in theater a little bit in college, which really wasn't the thing that football players did, yeah. But I did like 2 or 3 plays, really loved it, and then
Unless they were lighting the loafers.
Yeah.
Right, so.
graduated from school, and then moved to Newport, Rhode Island, where I did my 4th performance there. And I said, Mom, Dad, I know what I want to be. I want to be an actor. And, I come from a very old school Irish, Italian, Catholic upbringing, only boy to go to college. My parents are like, you're getting a real job. And so I had an opportunity to move to New Haven, Connecticut, work as a paralegal for a law firm, an asbestos litigator. And then I simultaneously got into the restaurant business. I started as a busboy, moved up to a waiter, and then a bartender. And so I sort of did this for about 3 years. In one fateful night, I waited on a VP of Sales and Marketing for Bayer Pharmaceuticals, and that's how I got into medical sales. So I spent 4.5 years at Bayer, and then a year and a half at the Medicines Company, which is a startup company out of Parsippany, New Jersey. And then I got a really big break.
Like Bayer aspirin, Bayer?
Bayer aspirin, yep, Bayer aspirin. And then the Medicines Company, I sold a heparin replacement, and then I was in that job. I was in the cardiac cath labs in New Haven, Connecticut, and the Boston Scientific manager used to see me there and saw the relationship that developed, and et cetera, et cetera. He said, look, if you want to move to Long Island, relocate, I got a job for you. So I picked up my life in New Haven after 8 years and moved to Long Island. I was living in someone's illegal basement studio apartment.
Everybody has one of those moments.
Hell
in New York.
Yeah.
I lived in two.
Yeah, so, and I loved it. I really, I know people make fun of Long Island a lot, but I loved my time on Long Island.
I live in Long Island now. I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, so I covered Long Island, Staten Island, and Queens, and it was, I can say all this now because all the money is long gone. I'm in debt. But I made really good money. By 30,
You were very successful. You were top.
But I was one of the top salesmen in the country. By 31, I was making over $500,000 a year. I bought an apartment in the city by myself. I was living the life, right? The whole $8,000 Rolex and blah blah.
So
blah.
hold on a second. So you were making $500,000 at 31 years old.
That's correct.
And to chase your dream, you gave that up.
That's correct, sir.
Gave it up.
Okay. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah,
for the listeners.
Yes. And so it's just I really worked a ton. Mike could vouch for that. It was 18-hour days. I lived on my pager. I was in surgeries every day, and then taking customers out for steak and martinis, and when we could still do that. And then 2005, and I remember the exact moment. I was so weird. I was watching HBO, and there was this song that popped up. I don't know what they call this specific thing, but it's like the little advertisement after the last show is ended and before the next one begins. What do they call it? Like end arounders or whatever that is. And this song played, and it's funny that I'm saying that a song changed my life, but this song played called "Eyes" by Rogue Wave. And I was just, the song just inspired me in a certain way. And I was like, wow, God,
Mike, can we look that up? "Eyes" by Rogue Wave. Can we look that up and see what get a little sample of that?
He was taking a selfie right there.
No, he was admiring himself. I'm sorry, Mark.
No.
It's okay. So
because I want to hear the song.
Yes. So the song played, and then I really had nothing else but work and the gym. Those are the only two things I did. I wasn't dating. I wasn't vacationing and making all this money. And so New Year's Eve 2005, I was really, really sick. I had COVID.
He's the original. There it is. We just figured it out.
And you guys thought you caught it from bats. Wrong. It's from me.
It's from Mark's dirty drinking out on New Year's Eve.
You're such a bad guy.
Here it is.
All right.
This is the inspirational song.
This is it, man.
I don't know how much we could play without getting in trouble, but
Yeah.
I just want you to hear the hook. It's coming up right now.
Pushing myself to finish this part and handle a lot. One thing I miss.
Guys, Shawnee, sing it.
He knows this
I'll
song.
do this shit for karaoke.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the song. Changed my life. I don't know why it did, but I'm going to speak to that. I do know why it did. And I'm not trying to sound deep here when I say this, but entertainment, art, whether it be music or paintings or acting or whatever, it's created to inspire people. It's a gift that an artist gives to other people to make their lives better and brighter. And I'm stealing those words from Will Smith. Educate, entertain, inspire, whatever that is. And that song, for some reason, hit me in a certain way that I started to revisit some old dreams of the past, really. New Year's Eve 2005, I was deadly ill, and I ended up staying in, and my friend was like, oh, you should, there's a marathon of this new TV show on HBO playing, you should watch it, and it was Entourage. And I was watching it, and I was saying to myself, like, you know what? I'm going to do something different in 2006. I'm going to take like a class at NYU or something like that. It's either going to be real estate or it's going to be an acting class. I took an acting class. It was an adjunct class at NYU. I met my mentor, Lawrence Gewirtz. By the 4th class, he had approached me and said, would you stay after class and read some scripts for me? And I, was doing some cold readings with him. And he said, look, I run this group called the Fourth Wall Actors Workshop. It's 12 weeks of rehearsals, and it culminates with 3 performances in Hell's Kitchen. Would you be interested in doing that? I was like, yeah, so I did it. I was scared shitless. But, like they say, your comfort zones are where dreams go to die, right? Where things go to die, and I really put myself out there. It was like learning how to swim by getting thrown in a pool, or learning how to bartend by getting thrown behind a bar on a Saturday night.
That's why I'm always out of my skin, dude.
Yep, that's it.
People wonder why.
Yeah,
I never want to be too complacent.
That you can't be. You can't be.
You know what the fucked up thing is? Not to cut you off, it's my personality.
Please. Yeah.
And people bug out on it.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't do shit. I never did shit for attention.
Yeah.
But I bartended because I knew I was on stage.
Yeah.
Now, do I think I'm a funny guy? Yeah, I think I'm a funny guy. I've seen stand-up comedians that are fucking terrible.
Yep.
And ask him the story about when Entourage came out. Because we fucking initially saw that shit. I'm like, dude, that's us. Except none of us are actors.
Well,
but that's us.
Not,
like that. If it happened to
now.
one guy, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then he would bring everybody along with him. Yeah. And that's kind of the way we grew up. Yeah. It was like, if one makes it, all makes it. It was like...
You are Queens Boulevard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Dude, we fucking...
Just to hear it alone in his
dude,
mouth.
We grew up in it. That was our life. Yeah. Like, I know he's a Queens dude. That was our life. Like, their story on camera was our real life.
Yeah.
So that shit was like fucking... There were so many different like national stories that we
it's funny. It's like, cause when I first thought about like acting, I was like so scared within the audition. I didn't even go in the door.
Sure.
And I always think to like, not to harp on it too much, but I think back, let's say I did go in and the worst thing that could happened to me, and I finished that audition and I was good at it and I was brought into the world. Yeah, like I know that I would have an entourage. I would have a 4-person entourage, sure. Maybe rotating people.
We always dreamed that.
But it was
dude,
like
you make it big. You're bringing us wallet.
That's the way it goes. Like,
I can tell you this.
Bring people along.
And this is why I'm grateful as his friend that he became who he is now. Growing up, it was difficult for both of us for different reasons.
Sure.
I was always outgoing. Like, my shit was I didn't get attention from my parents.
Right.
Because they didn't care enough or whatever the reason. My mother loved me, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I don't ever want to speak bad my mother loved me, but she loved drugs a little bit more in certain circumstances.
Sure.
Certain times of her life.
Sure.
Which I get. I'm not sitting here trying to like be a judgmental person, but I was always, I guess, craving for attention from my parents that I didn't get and my grandparents didn't give me. So I kind of craved it outside of my house. And I tried to get attention from my friends. Yeah. And me and him were the white dudes in our neighborhood. Like we grew up, we had a couple of white friends, but we were the, minority. Our friends, we melting pot. Very melting pot.
Yep.
Very melting pot. Very, very much. But I wasn't afraid to be fucking who I was. And that was me always jumping out of my skin. Right. That's just who I was.
Right.
I'm not, he'll tell you, I'm no different today at 47 than I was at fucking 15.
Yeah.
And maybe I was a little more, like I'm a little more boisterous, now because I'm an adult and I don't give a fuck. But as a kid, I was timid, like I was scared. My whole point is, you coming out of your comfort zone is a feeling that's almost like being alive, as opposed to. And then when he started acting, he was always very introverted, like always shelled up. Not always, but with us, he was great.
Yeah.
With our immediate friends.
Yeah.
My boy Cookie, Bosk, and Miguel and Hector. We had a little tight crew.
Yep.
He came out of a shell for our crew, the 189 Park crew. If we go to a club, all of a sudden he's getting a little like, we call him Choco for a reason.
Right.
His name's Choco because he could dance in the club. They used to do the circle, like, whoa. All black fuckers look at this guy like, damn, this kid can dance. He was the white with black in the middle. We called him Choco. That was the nigga.
Sure.
And our Puerto Rican friends gave him that name. So before you think we're fucking racist,
we didn't give it to ourselves.
You
we don't
fucking
look at each
judgmental
other
pieces
and go,
of shit.
Hey, I'm white, but I think you should be Choco.
Yeah, because there's so many judgmental fucks that are gonna say,
nah.
Who those white guys? They think they have the honor to call themselves Choco.
No,
go
just one of
fuck your
us.
dad. The way you can tell me like
Yeah,
how to
that's-
live, I'm gonna tell you how to live.
You should.
If I should be good, you should be bad. Go blow your fucking dad. Fucking idiots.
Anyway, so that's
Anyway,
just you're just assuming
No,
that
but
somebody got a
and
bad
I'm
leg.
sorry, and I went off track because
You
that's what I
did.
do.
It's
I'm
okay.
ADD, like bad.
Massive. But we jump
Bad.
back.
But this guy, I'm so grateful that he became an actor
Yeah.
because now he's always outside of that.
Yeah.
But I became an
He used-
actor.
He used to come outside of his skin in certain moments.
Yep.
And now he's very like fucking just boom. Like,
Yep.
he throws it all out on the table.
Yep.
And I love that. I really appreciate that. Listen, I don't have any problem with
Thank
people
you.
that don't do that. I don't have a problem with people that are but he's one of my best friends in the world, like my brother.
Sure.
So it makes me happy to see that he's releasing all that fucking emotion. Like he used to hold that shit in. You know, he came from a like different background like we all did. And he held it in. Now he lets it all out. And he's living his best life right now.
I'm proud of him.
I fucking love it. I'm proud of him too.
I
I'm
got
super proud of
into
him.
it. I got into it. So when Mark got into,
I'm just glad you're here because if I did that alone, it would be so gay. And then he'd be like, "Oh, you have a crush on me?"
so when Mark got into acting, I started helping him read some of these characters. And as I was trying to write little stories, I thought if I couldn't get into acting, maybe I could write a really good story. And so we would look at the script, and he would say, "You just say like, what do you think?" And it's always good to have somebody else's opinion
Always.
of what you see.
Second set of eyes.
So it would it would hit. We worked well together.
Yep.
Accents, characters, situations, where do you place them? And it's like 9 times out of 10, like it worked. And I was like, well, I don't know. So he would say, and through joking and stuff like that, he was like, yeah, you ever think about doing stand up? I was like, nah, you know, I don't think about it. Like I have these jokes, I'm not really holding on to them.
Yep.
But I was like, you know what? After
Comfort zone.
Yeah, like after a while of going through it, the same acting teacher and coach that
But he told me he was doing that. I was like, "Fuck yeah, bro."
Yeah.
Because I've never had I got bold. I don't give a fuck. I'll do anything. But I never really thought of getting on stage. And I was
But
like,
because of him is how I got that, got over the hump. The teacher, Lawrence Getwitz, has a class, and he puts you on a stage in front of 40 strangers. And so your comfort zone is gone.
done.
Done. So both days of my performance, I forgot my lines, and I recovered, and I was terrified. I was like, what the fuck, who would want to do this? Who would want to sweat?
Did you have like a little pee stain in your underwear?
No, I just sweat my body
Just a
weight.
little dot. One little small dot?
No, just sweat my body weight 16 times over. Like I used to, when I would sweat, I would take from my forehead and put the sweat like in my hair and my head.
Slick it back
Right,
and make it like it's
would,
fashionable?
but it would dry it up, right? But then it was
Dude, that's
just
the other
so
thing.
much.
Mark, that's the other thing. His hairstyle, oh my God, so much better than what it was.
Yo, so but over
He was-
time,
he was a fucking-
in those
Because
performances.
the guy was like bright white hair at like 24.
and
so
it wasn't that.
He
way.
used to
And-
crop it up like fucking like a soldier, and then he tried all these weird things. All of a sudden, he found this whole flat thing that he fucking does like a whole fancy kind of to the side thing. Pretty cool.
Very coiffed.
Well, anyway,
Very nice.
I got into it because.
Then
of
he
Mark.
married a pretty girl. Like it all fell into place after his hair fell into place.
It fell out.
It fell out in some of
It
it.
fell out into
The
place.
porn part stayed in place.
Yeah,
Stayed
that's
away-
it. That the porn part.
And you took advantage of it.
Stayed right there. So anyway, getting back to the reason why we're in this conversation. So you get into it, you have the teacher and your
Yeah.
performance, and you go through the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know at this moment, or do you feel at this moment that this is what you're built for?
It's so funny that you're asking that because it was. I was going through so many emotions, man. I remember after the third performance. I remember the opening night. I grabbed Lawrence 15 minutes before we went out, and I said, I forgot all my lines. I can't do this. And he was just like, you're going to have to find your way. And I went out and I did it. And I remember I don't want to say I crushed because I was still new, but I did well. And I had a lot of people come up to me afterwards and be like, Mark, you were great.
And you thought you were gonna fuck it up.
Well, of course I did. I thought I was going to forget every line. You know, I was scared to death. And
pretty crazy.
and I'll just add this conversation here, one of my favorite quotes. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is God puts everything on the other side of fear. You have to face fear to get everything that you want. I'm a firm believer in that. So I did the 3 nights, and I said to Lawrence, I'm never going to go on a stage again. I'm just going to do TV and film. And he said, I'm really disappointed to hear that. And then January 29th, 2007, oh no, it was 2 weeks before that, I called up my boss and I said, I am leaving Boston Scientific to pursue an acting career. And he was like,
What was your salary yearly at that point?
So it was a commission-based sales position.
right,
So I had
sales.
40,000 base. But think about it. Like, so I had a company car. They paid for gas, insurance, car wash, paid for my cell phone. I ate on the company for lunch and dinner every day. And I
So
was
zero. You had zero spending, like life spending.
zero expenses. And, I was getting $50,000 commission checks a month.
Oh my God.
So it was
And you walked away from that.
walked away to pursue the dream.
And I only bring this up twice because that is fucking. It takes balls.
Huge.
Like, not just you could believe in yourself. Okay, you could fucking totally be like, I trust myself. I bet on myself, and I've done that. Like, but without actually doing it. You
Did it.
did it. That is a ballsy. Listen, I walked away from a $110,000 job, but it was a construction job, which I was going to get any fucking day.
Sure.
And I started real estate.
Sure.
That's a whole different thing because I started in a business that I knew I was going to make money at some point.
Yep.
Just wasn't sure how long. Acting's a whole different thing.
It is.
You don't know if you're ever going to get paid again.
Well, and so that's the scary thing that I deal with, although I never think about it. And, I'll tell you something, and this is an important story for me to tell, an anecdote. When I was 23 years old, working at that law firm, there was a woman that worked there whose husband was in pharmaceuticals. And they got me an interview. It was a very conservative company. And I went through 4 grueling interviews. The 4th interview, I was a 23-year-old kid. I got verbally berated for 2.5 hours. Even the hiring manager was like, oh, man, this regional manager really tore Mark apart. And they told me I wouldn't get into medical sales. He said he wouldn't hire me for medical sales because I wasn't polished enough. A year later, I hooked on with Bayer. I won President's Club at Bayer every year. I grew the business 20-fold at the medicines company in 16 months. I took over the worst territory in the country at Boston Scientific and brought it to top 20 in a year and a half. Held on to all the contracts for 2.5 years. When I left, they lost all the business and they've never gotten it back. And they've gone through 10 sales reps.
Fuck you, Bear.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll tell you something. I remember that guy. His name was Tony Buglione, the guy that said I wasn't
Hey,
polished
Tony
enough.
Buglione.
you, Tony.
Fuck you, Tony.
If I saw Tony today, I'd buy him a beer and say thank you for letting the
changing your
fire.
life.
You changed my life. The fire in my. Someone told me I'd never quit smoking before 40. I smoked a pack a day for 18 years. Quit cold turkey with no medicine. Never cheated once. And so I just love when people tell me I can't.
Hashtag man crush.
Hashtag man
I
crush.
quit 47. I quit 8 years ago.
Good for you. And
I was a pack a day dude.
Yeah, same. I mean, I loved it. I when I see people smoking and they tell me they can't quit, I always stop them. You didn't like to smoke more than me.
No way.
You
No
did-
way.
I-
Dude, I went on ecstasy trips for fucking 3 days. Smoked 4 packs. I love smoking like it was like drinking water.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Fuck that. Nobody likes smoking cigarettes more than me.
No, I
Nope.
loved it, but the power.
After I quit smoking cigarettes, I knew I could do anything in the
That's
world
right.
I ever wanted to do.
That's right.
Ever.
And so with the acting thing, it was tough because, my family was like, "What do you work so hard to get to this point in your life?"
The pressure of people.
Yes. And people not seeing the vision and the dream, and like people would ask me like, "Well, do you have acting experience?" And I'd be like, "No." And like, "Are you in the union?" No. Do you have an acting coach? No. And one thing led to another. I started doing a little background work, and then I did a class, and I went in on an audition for an independent film, and I booked that role, and that got me Taft-Hartley into SAG, and then I was in the SAG union my first year as an actor, which was unheard of. And then one thing led to another, and I just started booking and Law and Order, and it just turned into co-star, and guest star. And I was really hard on my manager. I've had the same manager for 13 years. She's a wonderful woman, Jocelyn Herman Sacchio.
Shout out to Jocelyn. Hello, Jocelyn.
She's the best. But I always had that. The toughest thing for me to get used to is, and Mikey, you'll see this in your own career. In corporate America, there's like a linear trajectory. You make your numbers, you get a promotion, make more money. Make your numbers.
There's a cap.
Acting, it's just all over the place. And I did a 5-day guest star with Jennifer Lopez, who's one of the biggest international stars in the world, and I crushed that episode. I was in every major scene with J-Lo for 5 days. Paparazzi was there, took my picture. I was on TMZ.
Yeah, there's a cover of it that's at his house. His wife, his mom has it on his wall. It's because she's like a big fan of J-Lo, but it just so happens that her son is in there.
So, the Us Weekly magazine, but I'll tell you something. My mother for 10 years, I've been an actor for 14. My mother for 10 years would say, Marcus, you could still go back to medical sales. And when I booked the thing with J-Lo, she's never said that to me ever again.
See, all it
Cha-
takes is that one
change her mind.
eureka,
That's right.
eureka moment.
Change that one. Change that woman. And it's ironic too. Maybe I'm getting a little too carried away here, but I still get called 14 years later from recruiters for medical sales jobs.
Dude, I know 2 people that do medical sales, and it's a fucking tremendous career. Dude.
It's good, but I'll tell you something. And this is what I mean that God works in funny ways. And I'm not trying to get too religious on anyone, but spiritual here. And people always ask me, well, how did you learn how to be an actor? And I said, well, think about it. A salesman sells a product, an actor sells the truth. Being a great actor is just being truthful. That's all it is. Knowing what you want in the scene. So I can teach you to be an actor in 15 seconds. You get everything is all about scene study. Scene study is the core of acting. You figure out as your character what you want in the scene and what you're feeling. Everything else is being truthful. You don't act like you're drinking the drink. You drink the drink. There's acting.
So basically, you're lying until you're truthful. Because you're really selling a lie until you're being truthful.
Yeah, you're
so like
you're
I'm
legally
selling-
allowed to.
I'm lying to you that I'm this guy that works for a certain job.
You're legally allowed to steal someone's
I'm
identification,
gonna
right?
gonna
You're-
drink this
So you're
for real.
taking someone's ID, right? Like in someone in your life, a character that you've ever seen, and putting yourself in that person. So you're truthful in that character
No,
because that's
100%.
you. He's a robber.
I think
You're
it's
the robber.
I never thought of it this way though. It's
He's the robber.
fascinating that it's a lie and a truth melded together.
Yes, it is.
Kind of.
So
You know what I mean?
yes, you're selling the truth under false pretense.
There you go.
That's what
See
it
that?
is.
There you go.
That's what it is.
You said it much better than I took me to fucking.
Oh
10
yeah,
minutes
it's
to
always
say.
going to come out that way.
I'm a marbled fuck.
Yeah, but
Blah, blah.
But the one thing that because it gets scary sometimes. I mean, I would be lying to you both if I didn't tell you at 48 and a half years old.
By the way, people who say half is kind of weird. I'm just
still got that man crush.
man crush lost 5.
5 points down. 5 points down.
No, I mean, and I say this in a very humble way, but I'll share some of my. I'm a decorated war soldier as far as an actor goes. My manager and people that I started with aren't around anymore. Everyone that I started as an actor with has quit, and I'm here. And even my manager's like, it's remarkable what you've accomplished. Daytime and primetime TV, films that have been in theaters. I've had 4 films that have been in theaters. I was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I worked with Jamie Foxx for 2 weeks, and
that's
Andrew
what I said.
Garfield. And I did my own car stunt on that set.
But that's a fucked
So
up
you were
story
the
too.
Times
It's
Square
like-
scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he's
That scene was pretty fucking
he's
dope.
the lead SWAT guy on that scene, and he shot more. But this is the other thing. What happens on the cutting room floor is stuff gets put in, taken out,
Cut out,
Put
cut it-
you
yeah,
know,
of course.
it's
Chopped up.
it's the way it
They
goes.
didn't show
That's
my car.
awesome,
They
dude.
didn't show
Good
my.
for you,
They
man.
didn't show my car stunt. I had 17. I did 17 lines. 2 made it. So that just kind
But
of.
you get paid to act, bro. You
Yes.
don't get paid for movie
Yes.
fucking time.
No, it's.
I mean, movie time exposure.
and do you
But
know?
you get paid to be there.
I still get residual checks on that movie
Good
and
for
on,
you,
and on
man.
the Smurfs.
That's awesome, dude.
So it's wonderful, but yeah. So good.
All right, so
No, so the thing that still gets scary, I guess, is because I see a lot of artists that are still in the business and they're 65 years old, and they don't really have a lot. They're starving artists still. But I just won't allow that to happen. I mean, there's no backup plan for me, man. I got to make it.
Listen, I could tell you this. As man to man, we're the same age.
Yep.
I'm a little bit younger than you, not much.
half. He's a half younger.
I'm a half.
Nice.
Like Irish, they say half 6.
Yeah.
I'm like half 74.
4.
So we're about the same age. So I took a risk on myself because I was tired of working for other people.
Sure.
Right. And I honestly, I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. I used to practice my autograph. I thought I'd be a fucking tremendous baseball player. I thought I could be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could sing. I thought I could do everything.
Sure.
And I probably can't do any of those things, but I thought I could. That's all that mattered to me. And I always thought I could. Like, I always had more confidence in myself than any person I've ever met.
Yeah.
I was always confident. So that being said, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my best to do whatever makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? And that turned to shit when I got hair in my balls and I had to get a real job. And then I got a job and you know what? It's like I got a doorman job. As you know, it was like fucking union, 32 BJ. It was great.
Great job.
Right out of high school. I was like, well, I was 18, 19.
Great bennies.
Great bennies. I knew fucking after like a year and a half of that, I was like, can't do this. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was right up the block from Columbus Circle. I'm like, I can't do this. Tried to get out of that. Whatever it was. Then I got the TV production job.
Yeah.
And when I got in that business, I was like, you know what? Like, I saw what it was. And I worked TV aspect. I didn't work in production movies.
Sure.
I worked production TV.
Yep.
And I did live TV. I worked on Martha's first season talk show.
Oh, wow.
I was Steadicam. I pulled cable for Steadicam.
Wow.
That whole full season. Not one fuck up. Or every opening was live.
Yeah.
Steady
Back
cam.
it up.
He can hold that shit steady.
Steadicam back it. Bro, I pull cable with any motherfucker in the city right now.
Not a better
I haven't
cameraman
worked-
than Tommy Lee.
I haven't worked TV production in fucking 20 years. And I guarantee you right now,
Tommy
I
Lee.
could pull cable with anybody.
Tommy
Fuck
Lee's
Tommy
the best
Lee.
cable man ever.
He's got a pretty good cable.
He's got an amazing cable.
But so I love that business. I got into that business. I'm like, this is fuck. 1999, my first year in it.
Yeah.
I worked the World Series at Yankee Stadium. The Braves against the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a kid that literally just got this job, and now I'm on the field at Yankee Stadium.
Sure.
And I'm a diehard baseball guy. So at that point, I'm like, yo, I need to be in this world.
Sure.
Like, I need to be in entertainment. And circumstances, made me change careers or whatever. But when I changed my life from construction to real estate, being around that environment of openness, just going for your dream and not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I wasn't around that acting lifestyle or I wasn't around that entertainment lifestyle, those people come and go as they please.
Yeah.
People, whether it's producers, whether it's everybody kind of,
Sure.
you work to a clock, but you're working at your own speed. I don't, maybe I guess the best way to say it is it's not a 9-to-5 world, right? That allowed me to think outside the box for the rest of my life. I knew at that point I was never going to be a real good 9-to-5, 7-to-3. I was never going to be that guy.
Sure.
And when I got in the union, the Ironworkers Union is a fucking great union.
Yeah.
Dude, I loved the business. I loved doing what I did. I hated the scumbag nature of it. I wanted to get a fucking punch somebody in the face every day.
Yeah.
Do I really want to do that? So that at that point, I'm like, and I was an Ironworker for 12 years. I was in a union for, let's just say 7 or 8 years. I was legit. And then I worked non-union for a bunch of years because I was hired as a super.
Sure.
I hated it. The last fucking a bunch, and I was making a lot of money. And that allowed me to make a point where going into real estate is going to allow my lifestyle to change and the quality of life.
Sure.
And that's why I think that, and again, I'm sorry to get off.
But he's
track.
also got to hustle. Like, that's
You-
the thing. It's like
no
you were
doubt.
saying. No. You were talking about the jobs that get you there, right? What you felt comfortable. As he still has job A, along the way, you've had other hustle jobs that have helped create the
But he
the
chased a
mindset.
dream
Yeah.
as opposed to a good quality of life. I chased a dream to get that quality of life. So that's why I'm saying I commend.
Like, he started.
It takes a lot of fucking balls.
to start
I
that
think
way.
it takes a lot of balls to do what I did
Yep.
at 45 years old to change careers.
Yep.
But I had I wasn't worried because I knew I was going to make some kind of money.
Because if you don't do the real estate, you
Well,
could always
you
go
did-
back to
I
construction
could do
and do
some.
that.
No, not only that, I knew I'd make money in real estate.
But I mean, as a
I
backup,
just didn't know how long it would
if
take.
real
or how
estate
much I'd
wasn't
make.
doing good,
What he did,
he went from successful.
he basically jumped into the fucking water with no fucking life raft. With
He jumped the
nothing,
shark.
in the middle of the fucking ocean.
Okay.
And I think that is something like even listen, Mike, I love what you did. I love what you do, what you did and what you do, but you kept your job.
Yes.
All right, and I'm not taking that away from you. And everything that you've done since the minute you started acting has changed your life in every great way. What he did was a little more crazy and
No,
risky.
that's the
That's
thing.
all I'm saying.
That's the
And
thing.
what you did, I commend. And I think that it takes balls, a certain amount of balls to do what you did. Like, because you're like, fuck this, I'm all in.
Well, think about it. So one of the things that influenced me as well was a quote by George Clooney on why he went into acting. And he said, my father always told me, don't wake up at 50 and say, oh, God, I should have done this. And I want to play this for you. This is a little video. I don't know if the audience will be able to hear this, but hopefully everyone here can hear this.
What is it on? We could put it up there.
Put it right to the mic.
Put it right to the mic.
I mean, to you. You have the camera somewhere. That's your camera right here.
What a dumb game.
Okay, hold on.
That's not a practice run. We get one shot at it.
Yeah, so turn here.
The average person tiptoes through life, hoping they make it safely to death.
The average person gets through life.
That's not a practice run. We get one shot at it.
The average
100%.
person tiptoes through life.
Not a practice run. We get one fucking shot.
So, you know what? Like, I think about it like,
What are you wasting?
well, yeah, it's always been my approach with women. I see a really beautiful girl and I get intimidated. Nah, she says no.
Fuck that.
So
What do you got to lose?
what? And so I say the same thing. When I coach a lot of young actors when they go on for auditions, and I'm always like, "You already don't have the job. You can't lose anything. You only stand. You only stand to gain, right? You already don't have the job. You already don't have
I don't think I've ever heard that.
You already don't have the date with that girl, right?
The fact that you don't have the job, it's already there.
It's already there. It's guaranteed you don't have the job.
It's the same thing with the girl that you see in a bar. You already don't have a date with her. What do you stand to lose?
What the fuck do you have to lose?
Someone's going to make fun of you for it? No. Every other guy in that bar is going to be like, good for you,
Yeah,
dude. You have balls.
I couldn't do it. I went up there.
You have balls.
I pride myself on that, man. Good for you.
Me
dude.
too. But
That's awesome.
But I'll tell you something.
That's fucking awesome.
Mike brings up a really important point, and this is something I really wanted to talk about. So I try and coach a lot. There's a lot of kids that go and get BFAs and MFAs, or they go and do
What is a BFA and
the
MFA?
Bachelor of Film Arts, Master of Film Arts.
Okay.
Go to get the degree in the job that you're trying to get
So
as
you
an
go
actor.
to, you go to school for something.
Yes.
to get well-rounded.
Which my ex-wife's my son who, not my biological son, my ex-wife's son who he went to New York Film Academy.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So I guess that's a BFA.
yes,
right?
yes. And so stuff
A
like
lot
that.
of fucking money. It was like $17,000.
yeah.
Like,
They're
ridiculous.
not a lot of people come out of the New York Film Academy.
I give my ex-wife a lot of credit because she fucking paid for that semester. The kid didn't even. He loved it, but
Not a lot of people come out of like New York Film Academy like with high honors. It's not a thing with them.
nobody does.
Yeah,
I think I looked at the fucking the alumni. I was like,
Yo, there's not.
I was hoping to find one fucking.
You have a
regular
better
like me
chance
and my
of
dad.
finding people from like the Actors Connection.
No, they're all coaches.
Yeah.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But how good's your school if you haven't fucking had one successful? They're all coaches.
Well,
They're all-
look, I speak to this point all the time. You know how many people write books on the audition process and they're casting people? When's the last time you've been on
and
the
they
hot
failed,
seat?
and they failed at it.
Well,
probably.
look, when is the last time you've been on the hot seat? It's like someone that teaches how to litigation in a college classroom, but they're not in the
Never
courtroom.
been in court.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. So anyway, I want to speak to this point. I created this one-pager, this document for actors because a lot of these programs don't have a class dedicated to the business of show. It's called show business for a reason. Everyone thinks like, oh, you learn the craft, now I'll be a successful actor. No, this is the way it works. My one-sheeter, it focuses on if you go and get training, whatever, training on the craft, BFA, MFA, 2-year conservatory, whatever, and then audition technique, which is something a little bit different. That's 20% of my one-pager. 80% of my one-pager is about how you navigate the landscape of the business. And what I mean by that is you approach it like a business. We look at Mike Durso or Mark Doherty. We'll use me as an example. I'm a product to be sold. What is the product? I am a 38 to 45-year-old age range, blue collar guy because I don't really get doctor, lawyer much. I get more cop, fireman, construction worker, priest. Right. So we have this type.
So you're not afraid of typecast?
No. Well, procedural dramas are everywhere on TV. I'm happy to be Mariska Hargitay and work for 20 years on SVU.
When I hear actors go, I hate to be typecast. I'm like,
They're
fucking-
liars.
I hate you.
Look,
They're
those
liars.
those are the actors I hate.
Those are liars because if you put them on, if they were on, look at Ice-T. Ice-T wanted to
Those
did
are
some
the
movies.
actors I hate.
He
though.
got on there
like
and he-
Christian Bale. He's a brilliant actor.
Brilliant.
I can't be Batman. You're a great Batman.
Well, that's
though.
because he's
Why
successful as
can't
an
you-
actor that
no,
he can
because
say
he's
that.
pretentious.
Like,
He's
yeah,
a fucking pretentious prick. As great as you are, listen, you can be great at what you do. You can still be a fucking prick.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I like the machinist.
He's
there's-
brilliant,
He is fucking brilliant. But you know what? That doesn't give him the right to go, I'm too good to do this again.
Yeah.
And if no, maybe it does. You know what?
But what? No, but if
Maybe
he
it
moves
does.
aside, somebody
Maybe
new comes in and it
does,
changes
but it
the.
gives me the right as a fan to go,
go,
you're a fucking dick.
You're a dick.
That's all. Because he is so good that you want to see him keep doing
Right,
that.
but here's the thing:
Dickie
is
Ward in The Fighter.
in the fight, like I mean, that
Dude,
character.
unbelievable.
And they say, if
He
you
is-
did you see the real Dickie Ward?
Tom Hardy,
He's-
Christian Bale.
Mike Fassbender.
Who's Mike?
Michael Fassbender.
Who's Mike? Oh, yeah, of course.
you got it from
Johnny Depp.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Johnny Depp, who can play a ton of characters.
He can.
He was never
Johnny Depp annoys me.
bankable until he did Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean. Before that,
Johnny
he
Depp
was
annoys
not
me.
bankable.
Yeah.
He was not bankable.
I don't appreciate anybody who shits where they eat, and he does that big time. That's all.
You mean with women?
No, with the with America.
Oh.
I'm a 21
Well, he
Jump
lives
Street
in
guy.
he lives
I'm
in
a 21
he lives in
he
Paris.
Yeah, I know. And when he
Yeah.
moved there, he goes, "Fuck America."
Yeah, well, while he was
When
there,
you make
we
all
turned-
your fucking money in this country.
Well, it
and
turns out
can
that
have you can have an opinion about politics. You can have an opinion about the government. You can have an opinion about he shit on the country
Yep.
as a whole.
Yep.
And you know what? Go fuck yourself.
Also, he
That's
has
all.
a $20,000 a month wine habit.
And he also beats his fucking wife, who has a goddamn national like literally. I think they had what do you call what's the international police force?
International people?
Yeah, what's
Interpol.
Interpol. Interpol had a protection of order of protection because they lived in multiple countries. Or I might be wrong in what I'm.
Well, they didn't
in
live in
internet,
that, but they
live. They have houses in multiple countries. She had to have multiple countries protect him, protect her from.
Protect her from him.
All right,
And
so
they
let's
say
get.
she's crazy, but whatever.
So let's just get to
fuck Johnny Depp.
Let's get to fuck. Let's go to a better
Yeah,
better
let's
actor
go back.
than
Let's
Johnny
go back
Depp.
to. Let's go back to Mark.
Let's go back to Mark Doherty.
Yeah.
So
hashtag man crush.
Yeah, you forever and ever now. You're locked in.
No, Mike. I see why you love him so much.
Yes, he helped me get to or help get me to the places that with the right doors to go in. So in some of your little jobs that you
Backdoor?
picked, back door, definitely. He's my backstage back door. So of some of the side gigs you've had, what are the most memorable ones that were like?
Survival jobs, you mean?
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of it, and I'm going to answer that right away. I just
Is
wanna-
that what you call them? Survival jobs?
That's what, yeah. And so I'm going to build on that. So that one sheeter that I was talking about, we create this product, right? And then we develop a headshot and a resume and an acting reel that sells that product. And then everything else is getting your personal life in order, Michael. So it's, number one, controlling the controllables, because a lot of things are uncontrollable in this industry, right? I could go in and crush an audition. They might want a blonde guy. They might want a guy who's 5'7" and closer to the co-star's height, blah, blah, blah. So, but we can control being on time to our appointments, being prepared, being courteous and polite to everyone in the room, right? And then the other aspect of this, and this is where artists fail. I hope everyone's listening up. This is where artists fail. You need to have your ducks in order in your life. Affordable housing, affordable transportation, a good survival job that you love because you will spend the majority of your time doing your survival job, not acting.
Right. It's just there.
So what do? I am a nanny / sports coach.
Manny. He's a Manny.
I
so
do it.
that leads me to my next question.
I do it all.
You're a manny.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before.
I told him it, and
I
he
think
was like, hold on.
When Mike
what
said,
did you say?
When Mike said he's a manny, I go, listen, bro, I'm from Flushing. The only Mannies I know are fucking Lopez and Gomez. I don't know what the fuck a manani. What the fuck is a manny?
Well, so I'll tell you something. I'm a Scorpio. I don't know if people out there still believe in horoscopes anymore, but Scorpios usually try and be the best at everything, and they usually are. And when I was a salesman, I gave 100%. When I'm a nanny, I'm 100%. When I'm a sports coach, I'm 100%. When I'm an acting coach, I'm 100%. When I'm an actor, I'm 100%. But I've really found a lot of joy in working with kids. 3 to 10 is my age range, and just helping them. And more than just hitting a baseball, throwing a football, although those are important things, but teaching them to be good listeners and to be respectful of their elders, and to let ladies, and yes, I do still believe in this, let ladies in the elevator first, and pull out chairs and those kind of chivalrous things that a lot of this world has lost.
Listen, hashtag
Man Crush bigger?
5 points this game back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got his half back.
You got him back.
But a lot of artists don't understand this, and so they might be having a survival job that they're miserable in, and then they're just like, I just want to quit, right? This dream isn't that important to me. But for me, the dream was so important to me that I needed to find ways to get through whatever you want, if you want to call them the down times. Again, I'm a decorated soldier. Like, I've worked a lot. TV, film, theater that's been reviewed by the New York Times. I did some commercial print stuff as well. I had a full page ad in the back street of the Wall Street Journal. My mug was on the sides of tour buses in New York City for Radio City Christmas Spectacular. So I've worked a lot, and I'm still not a recognizable name. It takes a long time, man. It takes a long time.
Persevere, man. Just don't give the fuck up. That's all.
That's what it is. And I'll just share this with you.
And listen, I can tell by your energy. I am gonna root for you like a fucking,
Thank you.
like a Met. The way I root for my Mets.
Thank you.
I meeting you, And he could tell you how much I'm meffing.
Yeah.
Meeting you has inspired me.
Thank you.
And I'll just tell you that. And I'll root for you in every fucking thing you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're a good dude, man.
So
And
with our time running
You
out,
too.
I just want to go down and you tell me the first thing you think about when I name these titles. And
Okay.
some of them. So he's got 41 credits to his resume.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to name some, and we're going to do it quickly because we're running out of time.
Yep.
Okay, Adam.
Worked with Hugh Dancy and Rose Byrne on A Beautiful Scene. It was my first major film. It was my first year in acting. This is a true story. I stepped off that subway in Brooklyn, and I said, I don't know if I'm going to report the set. I was so scared. And I did it, and I went into hair and makeup, and I just started talking to people and making friends, and then we get out there, and it was a magical day of my life.
You played the captain in Blue Bloods in an episode. Where
I fucking love Blue Bloods.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I paced in my dressing room for 2 straight hours, not stepping out of lines. I stay in my lines. That's what keeps the nerves away from me. And I just showed up to set. It was really funny. We did a read-through, and the director was like, we could have recorded that. It was a private audition. And then they call in all the, like the lighting and the camera guys, and they're all there. And we do the scene, and I will say, I really crushed it. And at the end of the scene, I slammed the door, and I'm coming out, and one of the crew guys was like, that was great.
I fucking love this.
Burning Blue.
Really a heartfelt film for me. I did that in fall 2010. I was on a real hot streak there, and it was a period piece set in the early 90s about don't ask, don't tell in the military. And, you know, do I talk about funny, Mike, as an actor? I auditioned for that and didn't hear from them for 4 months, and then I got a call the week of Thanksgiving and said, you booked it. And it was a 22-day shoot. It was my first lead role in a feature film that was in theaters. The film didn't do very well, but I'm really proud of that work.
River Ridge.
I filmed that in the fall of 2010 as well. Really amazing time. I was down in Virginia shooting for the first time. I've shot in a lot of states now. And it was just a really beautiful piece. And I just remember like really loving smoking cigarettes on those breaks. And, you know, I'd love to dedicate this episode to a dear friend of mine who just passed away, Warren Kelly of glioblastoma. I was fortunate enough to work with Warren on stage in 2011 at the Abington Theater Company doing Blame It on Beckett. It was like a master class for me. I got to share a dressing room and a stage with this man, and who gave me I think he did over 1,000 plays in regional theater in the country.
Wow.
Like serious roles, like playing Hercules Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express, and Beethoven, and all these other wonderful things.
Just a real actor.
Unbelievable. And
No, I mean, that's
he
insane.
gave me that compliment of, Mark, you're wonderful because you're really truthful. And so,
See,
rest in peace, kid.
Actors like
Well, rest in
him.
peace.
Actors like him are
The real actors.
real actors.
Those are the real actors.
Hollywood has nothing to do with it.
Nothing. Those are the guys that get up on stage every night and they do those 8 shows
For
a
that
week.
long.
And they're not getting paid nearly what the movie star actors are getting paid. And I'll tell you something. Those plays there, when you want to talk about this, when you want to talk about this from a perspective of, oh, Mark, you got big balls for doing what you did. I'll tell you, those 3 plays I did at Abington, those off-Broadway plays that got reviewed by the New York Times, those were a 2-month commitment each. And I got paid $1,000 stipend for 2 months. And it was the best moments of my life.
That's awesome, dude.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
That's
And
good.
you know what? Rest in peace, Warren Kelly.
Rest in
obviously
peace.
being a real inspiration to
Yes.
you.
Influence and
Rest
everything.
for
Yeah.
him, man.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I mean, I think we're
that
down
it?
to our last 30 seconds. And,
So listen, man, I just want to say something quick because Michael is your boy and
Yeah.
he'll close you out. But it was a fucking absolute pleasure to meet you. I really, really thank you for coming in. Our show's about growing and getting knowledge out there and fucking happy, like you said before. I pride myself on making people smile. Mike does the same. So you being here was a complete natural fucking thing. I didn't know what to expect with him saying I got an actor friend coming in. Who the fuck knows what this guy's gonna bring in? But honest to God, dude,
Picked
it was
right off
it was
the
an
fucking
honor
train.
to have you here.
It was my pleasure.
And I'm gonna fucking watch your shit, dude. You've got me. The man crush thing. I'm totally not gay. That was like
Not
you know,
yet.
I'm more I'm more funny than gay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch your shit, dude. You're an inspiration, and I really commend you for everything you've done.
Well, it's an honor for me, and I want you guys to know something as well. When I blow up, everyone blows up around me, and I mean, so the world will know about this show. The world's gonna know about Rogue Wave because no one knows.
Studio
No one knows that band
Rogue
Rogue
Wave.
Wave. No one knows it, but the world's gonna know when I get up on that stage that this is the thing that inspired me. The world's gonna know that before I was a named actor, this is the first podcast that I stepped into. So
This is
You're the
his first
fucking man,
personal
bro.
interview.
You're the
This is
man.
his first interview.
And we're proud to do that. Whether or not you blow up, and I have all the confidence in the world, you will. But whether or not you do, it's a fucking complete honor. When you pointed to I thought you were like, they're gonna remember Studio Mike. And
They're
you
gonna
said, Rogue Wave.
Rogue Wave. Anyway,
They're gonna remember Studio Mike. Though,
so
'cause
while
Studio
we're
Mike
here,
is the
we
man.
ended out. It's Mark Doherty.
Love you, Studio Mike. You're the
IMDb,
man.
you can catch him out there, look at his credits and see what he's done so you can watch it yourself. He's the first one that pops up. That beautiful mug right there pops out there. So,
Pretty good looking, dude.
Pretty good looking dude. And it's thank you for coming on my show.
thank you
I
for having me.
appreciate-
Thank you so much for having me.
This is it's everything to tell your story, and everybody's got a story, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has
I
a story
heard
to
that
tell.
from heard it before, and and just recently heard it again. And so that's it. We're done. We're on our way out. It's absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to the future where we work together. That's for sure.
I can't wait for that too. In Hollywood, I'm coming, man. I'm taking over.
There you go.
Yo, be aware,
Look at that.
motherfuckers out there, because this dude's coming for some shit, and he's going to take it. I can tell you right now. So
Perfect.
thank you all for our listeners.
Thank
we
you.
love you very much.
We didn't get to start it off with the like, share, and add.
But please like,
if you're
share,
still
and add.
listening, yeah, and you can pass it out there. Like, share, and
They're
add.
still listening because this show is going to get a lot more repeat players, I guarantee. And just like, share, add. Bring us part of your life. Let us be part of it. We're going to bring you some fucking entertainment. Guys like Mark Doherty, they don't exist very often.
No,
so you want to
still,
know about
he's
this
a
motherfucker.
classic kind of
You're going
guy.
to find out about this guy before he becomes
Also
Tom
on
Hanks.
Instagram, it's Mark Doherty NYC. You can check him out
show,
there.
yeah,
Follow him up.
any
He's
other,
got some
any
good
other
stuff
thing
up
you
there.
want us to...
Anything that's personal
All right.
plugs you got? All right, that's it.
Thank you guys.
We're
Studio
out.
Mike,
Thank you.
you're the fucking man.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you,
big
Studio
man.
Mike.
Keep in touch with yourself, y'all.
Just don't touch yourself. All right.
Peace.
No,
Peace.
please touch yourself.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.